sitting on my lap when we sign off tonight. You up for that? I'll take that as a yes. Anyway, similarly pink shirt, Gods is joining us on the desk for the first time. You've been much closer to the crowd than I have. Have they been as loud as it sounds from back here?
It's been great. Got to cast the MP game right down by the stage. It was fantastic energy, power of anime prevailing, and Envy playing a sick Mirana. It's been a really exciting day for Dota.
Well, we've got some more three-game series, which I'm sure you were relieved to see.
Yeah, it was a bit of a worrying day one with all the 2-0s. Very exciting, close 2-0s. I didn't feel like 2-0s all the time,
not at all.
The games today, we're going the full distance.
But when you cast your eyes down the quarterfinals, Ted, I mean, do you think there's been the fair share of twists and turns as well in this the same day? Wait, let me try.
Okay.
Get my words out.
Take your time.
The second day, as there was the first. Wow, I talked too much.
Well, I mean, today I think it's been a great day, though. I would just like to point out, you know this no memes card I've had in my pocket for the last couple of days? I actually had a name written on the back of this. My tip for the major, it was these lads all along. So I'm just going to leave that there. Just because
I'm not sure how long that's actually been on that
card.
card.
It's been on there for 2 days, mate. I didn't borrow your pen to write that on.
I saw you writing it
on.
No,
you didn't. No, that's been there the whole time. I'm the Oracle. I'm the Oracle.
I'm okay with him making this prediction because they're still going to win 3 more matches.
They'll be fine, lads. Come on.
He could have made the prediction now, and that's still a bold prediction.
A what prediction?
More to go.
A bold prediction? Yeah. Okay. Bold, I think you mean, sir. But I'll take it.
It sounds the same, right? We've been
Coming from a guy that looks like he's hosting on a cruise ship, I'll accept it.
Bold and bold.
Yeah. It's bold, B-O-L-D, and bald, B-A-L-D.
Bold.
UNOD, I don't know what it is. It's Market Harbour. Maybe there's no bold people.
Don't reveal my town.
Along. Okay. That's right. Let's move along, for Christ's
We've been told
sake.
to move along by the all-seeing eye that is our producer. And now, why don't we meet the director? It is time for LGD and LGD.ForeverYoung to take the stage.
It is no secret that strategist Xiao 8 is one of the best leaders in the world, and the TI4 winning captain has ventured once more onto the breach with blood brother Yao. Joined by mid-veteran Super and 2 hungry stars of tomorrow, they conquered the Chinese regionals. Now, with DDC and End coming to their aid for the final showdown, they have added 2 deadly new weapons to their arsenal. Welcome on stage, LGD.ForeverYoung. Rejuvenating their roster with 3 hungry rising stars, Victoria, Amy, and Jixing. This team is paving the way for a new generation, led by one of the organization's greatest success stories, influential mid-player Maybe, and featuring TI5 silver medalist XZ. They are packed with potential, gifted with a shot at redemption. This team could strike with devastating force. Welcome on stage, LGD.Gaming.
Oh, you got me. That tickled me. That really did. Yeah, no, guys, this is our side of the stage. I mean, I guess you just saw LGD's logo. We got a little confused.
Hey.
This is.
Well, and then the VG.Gaming players are there, like, which team are we playing for? Like, I don't see a VG logo. What's going on here?
It can get a little confusing, but this is a rather unique scenario, right? I mean, this is great. I mean, we have got two teams that practice together, the sister teams playing against each other. I mean, I'm assuming they practice together, Winter. Is that a foolish assumption to make? Yeah, okay, he's looking at me funny. Oh, okay.
Go on then, set it straight, Winter. What's the deal?
Correct me.
What's the scoop?
I actually, what I know that when they were teammates and they broke up, they didn't break up on very good terms. Because maybe he was playing with the director previously.
So you think this is more of a grudge match?
I don't know really what happened, but they didn't work. Their team didn't work out. So
okay.
And you look at his team right now; they are all new players. And previously, he was playing with like a mixture of new and old players, and all the old players left the team, and he's with all the new players now.
Well, I mean, let's meet them. Let's bring up these new names alongside the director himself, Xiao 8, who has been regarded as the formula for success for a lot of Chinese rosters. But these newer names, I mean, when you talk about the newer names, Gods, who is it that jumps out of the page?
I mean, I think the one guy who kind of jumps out as of late has got to be End, who is like the newest name as far as this team goes in the Chinese scene. You've got some real veterans. When you look at Super, he's been around for a long time, had great success with VG.Gaming when they were a powerhouse in the scene. DDC, one of two players to be at every Valve event next to Misery. He's been absolutely everywhere. He's just been one of the most consistent 5-position support players out there. He's one of the legendary support players of Dota 2. But End is the newcomer. He's on loan from VG.Gaming. He's not like a permanent member of this squad, but he's a player who had a great 2016 season under VG.Gaming. He really kind of brought them to the top of the Chinese Dota scene, so he's a great kind of addition to this team who's kind of lacking a big explosive playmaker in one of the core roles. That's what he kind of brings, because Super, very stable in the mid lane, Yao, very kind of consistent, stable in the offlane, but they needed that kind of playmaking carry player.
I mean, you kind of set the scene quite wonderfully here, Winter. You've actually, instead of it being, okay, you know, fun rivalry, haha, we're sister teams, you've got a little bit of a drama, a little bit of a roster shuffle, but then you've also thrown on top of that the fact that LFY, over the two, were the ones that qualified. LGD were in that qualifier as well and didn't get the spot. So let's not forget that. Admittedly, head-to-head within that qualifier, LGD did win, but ForeverYoung got the spot. And now LGD, by a twist of fate, did manage to secure it over Execration due to various visa issues, but I mean, now it happens. Now they actually have to, you know, battle for redemption, LGD.
Well, when they first formed the team, like Xiao 8's team, they didn't look impressive at all. They were really shaky. They were not playing very well. But then again, like when they came up to the qualifiers, they improved a lot. Like the director, like, proving that he can make any team strong. You know, set the discipline, set the rules to the team. Everyone just follows his dictatorship, and he just, you know.
He hasn't had long with this team though. He's only had a couple of weeks with the stand-ins.
I mean, the stand-ins are all players that are really experienced, so it makes it easy for him.
How well can we gauge how they're going to do going in? Because obviously in the groups, LFY had Wings and DC 2-0'd them, and then LGD managed to beat Complexity and Faceless. So,
but I still think LGD would be considered favorites because they are playing with their full squad, whereas ForeverYoung have two stand-ins.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're actually going to get a great opportunity to hear what Yao had to say. I mean, we actually sat down with a member of LFY and we get to hear their take on it as they come into this one. The Death thinks they may be rather hamstrung by their stand-ins. Let's see what they said with Slacks.
Hey guys, I am here with Yao from LGD.ForeverYoung. How you doing, sir?
感觉还不错吧，然后也是第一次参加 Major， 然后但是这一次的赛制跟之前都不一样，然后感觉挺不一样的。
How do you feel about the format? You okay with it?
就是如果是按照之前的赛制，我们小组赛的表现还是很糟糕的，但是这一次的赛制的话，可以说对于我们来说还是比较有利的，因为小组赛的胜负和名次，然后对于接下来的淘汰赛，其实关于你能走多远，其实影响并不是特别大，所以这一点来说的话，这个赛制我觉得还是帮到了我们。
So I have some questions about your team. You and Xiao 8, you go way back. I mean, after all, you're like the old school guys, ForeverYoung. Tell me about that relationship. Are you guys still on good terms? What's he like?
我跟小巴就是在打职业之前就是认识，然后我们是在都是老乡，然后之前在自己家乡参加了一些业余比赛，然后最后决定一起走向职业，然后也一起组建了自己的职业战队，然后开始踏上这条路的。然后 当时也是从10年开始到现在也有6、7年了，然后相互之间也很默契。小巴他的话，是一个非常有责任心，然后也有统治力的队长，然后他可以处理好队内的很多事情，不管是队伍在顺风的时候，还是在逆风的时候，能够指引大家往一个正确的方向去前行。然后这一次的话，我们也是重新组建了这支队伍，LGD.ForeverYoung。然后，因为我们也是打了很多年的选手了，然后也希望自己能够保持一个年轻的心态，所以才取了这个队名。
Well, you had a lot to say about him. What about yourself? How would you describe yourself in such an eloquent manner? What makes you good on this team?
我是就是非常热爱然后 DOTA 这个游戏，然后打职业的话也是会非常专注，会尽自己的所能，然后希望能够积极的影响队伍和自己，然后就比较正能量一点的一个选手吧。
I think we get that from your games for sure. Now let's get down to the nitty-gritty. You guys beat LGD in the qualifiers, and now you gotta go face off against them again. Do we call you guys now? Are you now LGD, and they have to be like LGD inexperienced kids, or what should we? Is that how it works?
事实上，这个分组这个抽签，我觉得是比较糟糕的。然后预选赛的时候，其实在中国区预选赛 ，LGD 它是积分是第1的，我们是第2，然后在最后淘汰，我们是以第1的身份晋级的，然后也没有遭遇到他们。然后这一次在波士顿的正赛，然后第1轮就要面对他们，觉得会比较有意思吧。然后我希望我们能击败他们吧。至于谁是老干爹，谁是小朋友也好，然后老头也好，这个结果说话吧。然后都不会手下留情，希望能有精彩的比赛。
Good to hear. I'm glad you're not going easy on each other. That's great. All right. Well, I know you're cheating on me. We have a translator, and you don't even need it. I'm pretty sure. So how about, can you say something hype for all of the English fans out there? Something exciting about LGD.ForeverYoung? Give us like your, we're gonna win.
We're gonna win. What is this?
That was it. That was perfect. All right. Well, there we go. All right, guys. Well, best of luck to LGD.ForeverYoung coming up in their tournament. And we will see you guys a lot more in the Boston Major. Stay tuned with us and for them.
Yao there saying they're not going to take it easy, and it does seem abundantly clear, just reminding us of what happened in those qualifiers. It's almost like kind of a battle for pride, gods. This feels like it is a big one. Not only is it, of course, to get to the quarterfinals, but there's a lot of unspoken things on the line.
Yeah, two very different teams. Kind of Winter mentioned how things didn't work out with Maybe initially, and it's two very different styles where Zhao 8 plays that traditional captain where he's the guy in charge, he's commanding the team, he's very assertive. And a lot of these new younger teams, like you see with EG, you see it with perhaps LGD as well, they're much more kind of free-flowing. There's no one set person in charge as much.
Yeah, I think for a person like Maybe, you want to give him more freedom in terms of in the game. You don't want to control him too much. Like you don't want to go, I want you to do this, I want you to go down this route with your item build. You want to give him more freedom. But with the director, he probably wanted to control a lot of things.
So you want to give Maybe more freedom. I mean, we were talking about Maybe and his team. We'd be foolish not to bring up their roster, right? I mean, this is who ForeverYoung are going up against, and Maybe he's certainly surrounded by some very big names. We mentioned XZ and his presence previously at TI.
He was one of the best offlaners, if not the best offlaner during TI5. Like Tuss was his best hero back then. They still pick Tuss, this team, on the 4-0.
Seriously?
Yeah, this team does it.
And I mean, it felt like we were kind of not getting hung up on Maybe, but is the hype justified surrounding this name, Gods? Is this really someone that we can look forward to seeing watching play?
Yeah, he's, to me, the Sumail of China. He's basically their answer to what he is as far as raw individual skill, ability to put a game on his back when he needs to. He's the full package. He's absolutely amazing. And
another name that doesn't get mentioned all too often is Victoria, right? I mean, Pyrian, you got to see him a little bit. We got to see what Victoria was capable of from the boys of LGD when we were on that desk, or were you not present for that?
I can't remember.
You don't remember? We were singing his praises, definitely.
When was it?
I mean, like a good day one, day two.
If it was a day ago, dude, it's gone.
I have the same problem. Yeah. I really do. But
he was from the CDEC youth team. I don't know if you actually heard about that team, CDC. They had a youth team. They were the team that won last TI, and they branched out into some amateur, like tier 2 teams, and they got this player on their second team. And he was like learning there, and he became a really good player.
Him and Ame were both picked up from that squad. Yeah. So they kind of came over as this package deal, and now they're doing pretty well on the main LGD team with Maybe.
Well, I mean, I'm glad we're talking about Maybe because maybe we have an interview for you. Yes, indeed. Slack's still hanging out with the mid laner. Let's go ahead. You know you messed up. You know you messed up when your producer literally presses down the button and goes, that was so bad. I'm sorry, I'm making enemies here in Boston, but I'm going to go ahead and make my apologies while we take a look at this interview. It's Maybe and Slacks, and I'm blushing.
Hey guys, we're here with the legend of LGD.Gaming, Maybe. How's it going, sir? Hello. So, here you are at the Boston Major. Who would have thunk? It happened. Tell me what the team was like when you guys found out that you would actually be coming to this event.
本来开始知道自己来不了的时候是很失落的，然后后面突然知道这个消息之后，大家都很兴奋，然后大家都是有些都是在睡觉的过程中，然后就被喊起来，然后很激动，然后就睡不着了那种。反正总体来说就是大家都很兴奋，很期待。
People may have underestimated you. Clearly, from the games that you guys have played so far, you've been dominating. You've been destroying everybody. Can you tell us about that?
我觉得就是可能第一天大家其他队的状态来的没有那么快吧，然后我们应该是放的比其他队更开一些，因为我们本来是没机会来的，但是就是等于是运气好捡来了个机会，然后所以可能大家心态各方面都很放得开吧。
I'd hardly call it luck. I mean, there's a lot of skills in your games. Seems like there's a lot of thought put into it. How do you guys communicate as a team in game? Where do you get all these ideas from?
我们现在这个比赛打的东西基本都是我们在来波士顿之前为了预选赛还有为了波士顿预选赛和其他的一些预选赛所做的准备，然后也没有特别的训练过，然后来到这儿之后打的基本也是自己之前的一些东西，然后游戏里面的沟通也是大家都是比较习惯了那样沟通，所以一切都是比较自然的，我觉得。
Well, you seem to be doing very well, and you guys are the regular LGD. I feel like we should put something on the end. You have the old man in LGD.Forever.Young. I mean, you guys should be like LGD, the new blood, right? What would it be if you could pick?
我觉得应该是更年轻吧。
That sounds good to me. All right, cool. Oh, you threw me off with that one. That was funny. Shoot. So you're a mid, but a lot of people put a ton of pressure on you, an incredible amount of pressure, and you're able to somehow survive that. Do you have any tips for people playing at home on how to survive being a mid?
就是当中单被别人骚扰或者针对的时候，你一定要喊队友来帮你，一个不够喊两个，如果两个不够就把队友都喊来。总之就是一定要喊到自己能玩为止。
How do you motivate your teammates to come and help you? It's a hard job.
我会告诉他们，你们如果不来，我这把就玩不了了。你们必须要来，你们不帮我，这把就要输了。
Good strategy, commonly used by mids. Okay, so just want to know how you feel about the Chinese scene in general, especially here at the Boston Major. There seems to be a very strong presence now. Do you feel like it's a healthy scene?
是的，我觉得中国的 DOTA 是一年比一年更加强大的。不管是从就是新人和老人的替换，还有各种打法方面上，我觉得中国都是一年比一年强的，所以我觉得以后应该也会更厉害吧。
Is it strong and healthy enough to win the major? Will LGD be winning the major despite being the big underdog?
我觉得这次参赛国外队和中国队实力差距都不大吧，我觉得大家都有机会，然后我个人还是就是很希望中国队可以夺冠的，具体是哪一支，其实我都还好，我觉得可能还是 Miss 夺冠的几率更大一些吧。
An honest answer, but a good one. We are so happy to have you guys here and seeing you kick everybody's butt in the stages, and I hope you continue to have such great success here at the major.
谢谢 ，Thank you.
Thank you.
maybe they're saying he wants to see a Chinese team lift the trophy. Grand finals are far away, but if it was to happen, it would have to be him or his sister team, LGD and LGD Forever, the two remaining with a chance at the quarterfinals and continuing here in the Boston Major representing China. It's going to be intriguing as well just to see how some of the individual matchups do shape up. And when asked, you know, just before we came back from that video, we did go to the mid lane, and it was very interesting to hear you, Gods and Winter, just quickly back and forth about what the differences are between these two. Winter, why was it that you chose Maybe and Super?
Because they are polar opposites.
Right.
They play so different from each other. One player is really conservative, like, okay, one guy is the Razor player, the other guy is the Storm and Tinker player.
And that's it. There you go. Does that explain everything?
Storm, Tinker, Invoker.
The other is the Razor and Dragon Knight.
Razor, Dragon Knight. He used to play a lot of Alchemist mid. This guy, back when the Alchemist mid was like even less farmy. Like
it wasn't the Radiance Alchemist, right?
It was the Acid Spray. He would go the mech build, the mech Alchemist.
Yeah, the mech Alchemist.
Yeah.
So is there a good and a bad? I mean, surely both the styles that work. I mean, there's evidence of that.
Very different systems within each team and how they play and look to win games.
I would say as a captain, I would prefer to have Maybe on my team because of the meta. The meta favors more of a farm-heavy mid player.
But there are some surely benefits to having a Super on your team as well, Gods.
Oh, and
Consistency?
Super, very consistent, and sometimes he does put the numbers. The highest kill game so far has come from Super. He had a game on Razor where he had 25 kills against DC, so he can pull his weight when it's needed. It's just not what you're always going to get from him. He's one of those players who, if he gets shut down, you don't see the support swarming to help him. Something Maybe talked about where if he's having a rough time, he tells his team, come and help me or I'm going to be useless. Super, it's not that his supports aren't willing. Well, it's more that his supports aren't willing as much to help him.
I think I know what he would do. He would actually move to the other lanes to help the other lanes instead of us the other lanes to help him.
That's a perfect way to describe the differences between the two. And perhaps there are going to be some differences on the desk with our predictions. Ted, we're going to start with you. You are rocking the red.
LGD. I watched them in the groups. They look good.
Yeah.
And I thought that they looked like they were a solid team. They looked in form. So I'd have to say LGD.
It is funny that we are giving so much credit to either side when LGD did top their group and ForeverYoung did bottom their group.
Yep.
I mean,
the thing with LGD when topping their group, they had a fairly straightforward path. They didn't have to meet EG for one thing, who was in their group because of their Complexity upset. Complexity, a great team, but I think LGD match up very well against Complexity, and they would have struggled more against EG. EG historically do very well against the Chinese squad, so I think LGD haven't been tested yet. ForeverYoung knows them well. I just feel like Zhao 8 has a way of winning these big matches. He did it with Big God back when he had this ragtag group of players who were quote-unquote retired. I have just a hunch that ForeverYoung are going to take a close series.
Woof. One for ForeverYoung. What about you, Winter?
Do you believe Winter?
I believe him.
You do?
I was going to say like roughly roughly the same thing with how much I believe in the director.
Just because you went shirt shopping together or you did laundry and someone put a red sock in.
Oh.
Like they're putting there like, I can't wait to wash my white shirts, and then
he just left his tie in the wash. I mean, look at it. I love it. I absolutely love it.
What did you describe it as earlier?
That tie? I said it looked like he'd torn it off an old lady's sofa. Like
a stylish old lady's sofa, I will add.
Is that a good
I like
thing
it, Parker.
or a bad thing?
I'll take it.
Do you like old ladies' sofas? If you do, you'll love this tie. If you don't...
You're a good salesman, you are. Right, it does sound like the draft is on its way, so I'm going to cut you off. My prediction does go the way I've always been going with Period. I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to go LFY. It looks like it's going to be three. Why not?
We have 3 people picking the team who finished 4th in their group. That's the crazy thing.
How often does that happen? How does that happen?
We just believe in the director, honestly.
You either believe in Maybe or you believe in the director, and one's the captain, one's just a mid player.
Wow, look, I mean, the split doesn't represent the result. I mean, first seed going up against 4th. And we do see almost close to 50-50 coming in from and it's even closer with Twitter as well. You guys have firm believers that this is going to be a close game. I certainly hope so. We've been treated now. 2 games back-to-back, full 3 series, and hello. All right, Facebook.
What did Facebook
Calm down,
What was the Facebook?
90%.
Jesus.
Draft is ready, guys. Let's start talking about what we have to look forward to here. Are there any signature heroes that we're expecting to crop up, perhaps a deviation from the norm? Oh, well, here's some questions answered immediately.
Bingo, bango. We're
wow.
most of the way through the draft.
Recap, Ted. Give us a recap.
All right, we've got an Enigma ban and an Ursa ban.
What?
Enigma ban?
What? Are you
First ban Enigma? Yeah, what's wrong with you guys? Come on, standard.
I can understand the first ban LC. LGD plays a lot of Legion Commander.
Legion Commander SD and the Silencer Bat. So I guess they picked up the the silencer to sort of stop the back counter, but there's a Nyx assassin out there, so interesting times.
That's what I suggested in the previous game. Remember, Alex? I said that silencer is really good with bad against the Nyx. That's the plan here for them. Both teams have very clear strats right now. One is to have very good lanes with the Ogre. The other would have good team fight with the silencer plus bad initiations.
Is it a safe assumption that that's the first time we've seen a first phase Enigma ban?
Yes.
That's a safe one. Safe bet.
Even first Ursa ban in the first stage as well, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of these teams know each other very well, so there'll be like very directed bans against their opponents.
Yeah, they're not going to be banning around whatever the current meta is. It's like they always pick this or they always win with that, so we know they like this and that, so we'll just ban that. Having said that, Shadow Demon is a pretty standard ban, and Alk at the moment, I think, especially if you watch that last series without Finum, is 100% bannable.
Yeah. I mean, Zhao 8 teams always traditionally like to go around and work as a 5-man unit. We'll see very 5-man heavy, be it team fight or push. They want to stick as 5. For LGD, we're more likely going to see like that traditional carry that maybe split pushes a bit more, avoids the 5-man. So there will be a bit of clash of play styles.
Try to outmaneuver the opponents. Try to get more farm, be more efficient around the map, getting more items. Whereas LGD are just going to be like ForeverYoung. It's just going to be very team-orientated, play around each other. Just look at the bans. If you look at the second phase bans of ForeverYoung, they ban out Slug, very good split push hero, and very good at dealing with the Bat Rider, and they ban out the Naga as well. They clearly do not want the LGD main team to be doing like split push, catching them. They just want to fight them head on.
And that's where LGD will be at their best if they can get like a really dual core lineup where they have Ame as well as maybe both on these like farming carries, heroes that can split push, heroes that can be very independent. Perhaps something that can pair like with a Nyx for gank, like the Invoker maybe is still in the pool, something that can partner really well because you don't actually have to join up for those ganks.
Yep.
But
going back for the Nyx, so I've seen them run maybe with the Nyx mid.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I'm not a big fan of it. Like, to be honest, I believe that if you put maybe on the Nyx, it's like a very wasteful of resources. You don't want that guy to be playing like a space creation role. You want him to be on the big hero.
Yeah, and against a team that's going to 5-man a lot, you'd rather he's playing something that can split push a bit as well. That's not a split pushing hero. Lifesteal.
Lifesteal and Nyx though, that is a fighting hero. Very good combination, very scary in the mid game. But then again, you don't want to run the Lifesteal as your single core. You want to have your mid hero that has physical damage, carry potential.
I mean, can't really see them running the Nyx in the mid lane.
No, not anymore. They need like a TA kind of hero. TA Shadow Fiend, like a carry hero. A hero that can output damage. Sniper is still in the pool, so Sniper would be also a pretty good option here for them. They have the Ogre. Ogre plus Sniper. Yeah. Very, very potent.
Turn them into a machine gun.
Hello.
Yeah, this is like what we were talking about. One team is going to be trying to move around the map, split push, use resource very well, and the other team will be sticking together, having heavy team fight. They want to, 5-man down the lane to push out. It's very clear that both teams have very different ways of approaching the game right now.
We haven't really seen the sort of split push style having much success so far at the Major. It always seems to be about fighting rather than split pushing or grouping up. So why would you still go for that? Why do you think that's going to work this time when it didn't necessarily come out on top the other time?
I think it's really important that you believe in your playstyle. Despite it might not be the most optimal, but if you believe it and you execute it, I think that every playstyle can work still.
That was almost like a kind of a Facebook quote, wasn't it?
It was very motivational.
If you believe in yourself, you can do anything.
Dude, that's basically the foundation of everything. You have to believe in what you're picking. You need to believe in your captain. Look at Finum. They picked Morphling one time in the scrim, and because the captain believes that it will work, they picked it.
You're right. I was making a joke just because it felt very close to the hand script on the wall, like live, laugh, love,
and a picture of a sunset.
Yeah. Something
or
like that.
A crying kitten or something. Yeah.
That sounds about right. Either way, we are still waiting to see what LGD's response are.
Nerves there from the puck haver.
We have seen a puck today.
Yeah.
So you'll have been happy.
And he won, that was like one of
another Sand King.
One of the best puck performances recently. We don't see the hero winning a lot, so that was really impressive.
Yeah, Sand King is LFY's, I think, most played hero, at least coming into this tournament, was say. Like the flexibility where it can play in the offlane as a core, can play in the 4 position as well.
Do they run like Bat Rider mid? If they are going to run an offlane Sand King, then Bat Rider has to be mid. I'm really not a fan of the support Bat Rider we saw the last game.
Yeah. You were trash talking it the whole time, Winter. That's one way to put it. Not a big fan of. He was just slagging it off. Yeah, it was quite impressive. But do you not think that LGD lack a bit of damage here compared to ForeverYoung? Like ForeverYoung, you got Sand King, you got Batrider, Jug's going to put out damage.
Their 5th pick, it's maybe Zero. You know it's going to be a Shadow Fiend, it's going to be an Invoker, it's going to be something explosive.
Yeah, okay.
Like maybe even a Tiny could work. They have the IO. I don't know, like something that has a lot of burst and carry potential. Shadow Fiend.
Ban the Razor, what is that?
Is that still OD, right? That's still OD?
Yeah, it's still OD.
Okay, that's still OD. OD and IO. That's pretty scary in the early phase, in the laning. You provide a lot of like, mana and sustain towards the OD, and the OD will just destroy his lane.
Right.
Ursa was banned, I'm afraid.
Stop breaking people's hearts.
Dude.
Oh gosh, okay, there goes the OD. No OD for...
Okay.
Maybe I was looking to force that ban, you know. They may not have even wanted to play. They did do the IO Shadow Fiend in the group stage. Something which also gives some more minus armor to really help out the Life Stealer as well.
Yeah. I'm actually quite jealous of LFY. Sometimes
there's Super Zero.
That's Super Zero, the Dragon Knight.
Why are you jealous?
Why am I jealous of LFY?
Yeah.
Well, because sometimes in the green room I wish I could ban OD.
Hey!
That was... Okay,
You're on a panel with him tomorrow,
that was a good one.
You're on a panel with him.
Stop! Don't give them spoilers. That was going to be a special treat.
Sorry, I mean, it might be.
But is this exactly what you were talking about, Gods? You know, you were saying that Super and maybe are very different. You said he even pulls out a DK.
It's going to be DK versus flashy mid here.
That's it. That's a perfect way to describe.
This is
Shadow Fiend would be nice. Yeah.
Shadow Fiend, Invoker. Invoker probably not quite as good against like the Bat Silencer type draft, but
I'm thinking like Shadow Fiend or TA. They need like a heavy physical hero right now, and someone that can build BKB, because you want BKB against the Silencer and Sand King.
Okay. And now they've just got a whole 70 seconds to build suspense.
This is where even if you've decided your pick, you use the time to plan out your first TP rotations, your ward spots.
To replace the warding is like so crucial for especially the off lane. If you get a good ward down, you're going to be able to have a good time in the lane.
So that's what the discussion is happening right now.
They probably know their pick right now. Maybe there's a chance they're deciding between two different ones, but most likely they know what pick they're doing. They're deciding their exact ward spots, who's TPing where, who's using the smoke, all those things.
Interesting. And then in terms of like pre-game rituals as well, you know, did you ever have any winter? Did you ever have any, things you have to do, like magic socks you had to wear, or a particular game you had to play? I know some people like to play Osu or something beforehand. Anything?
No, I just need to make a phone call to my wife.
Make a phone call. Like, if I lose this one, if I go 3-2-2, I'm sorry.
Will you still love me?
There's the SF.
Hey, SF.
Woo!
Woo! That's fun. First SF of the main stage, so...
Shadow Fiend on the main stage going up against Super on his DK, as expected. It's going to be a clash of styles and a clash of sister teams. You feeling good about your predictions, everyone? I just want to see some nods.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Actually,
I like LGD's draft a bit better, yeah.
Same. Okay.
Well, we're in a bandit chip, but let's go on the LGD side.
Well, it does seem like our panelists have got faith in LGD's draft, preferring that one over that of ForeverYoung. Our casters are going to be ready for this one, so let's get this underway. Our final series of our second day of playoffs here for the Boston Major is about to begin, and it is time to check in with Merlini and OD.
Yeah, thanks very much, Alex. Indeed, we're getting ready for this final series of the day, LGD.ForeverYoung against the original LGD. I'm OD Pixel, I'm here with Ben Wu. It's the last hope here for China. We've seen the drafts coming out. What are you liking, Ben? What are you excited to see?
I think the Silencer first phase is pretty interesting, and I don't know, Shadow Fiend seems like pretty hard countered by a lot of these heroes. He has a hard time versus the Juggernaut, hard time, I would say, versus the Silencer, can't really get his ulti off, and of course the Batrider. But can they make the Batrider work out? It is a Shao 8 Batrider, but first we will focus on the Radiant heroes.
Showing the lineup here, of course, LGD on the Radiant this time. There's a lot of excitement for the crowd, of course, that maybe SF, the real star player and star performing hero that he's known for. We'll see if he's able to pull out quite a performance this game. And, of course, over on LFY, as you said, Xiaowei on this Batrider. Mixed opinions on the panel of this kind of hero in this position. What's your opinion on it, Ben?
It's different with LFY because when Kaka played the Batrider, he was like pure support and he wasn't dual offlane. Like he started off mid. I think Shao 8, he is either going to play way greedier and just a straight up jungle, or he's going to dual offlane. I don't really think he's going to run around a lot and switch in between the lanes as much as Kaka did. So, the panel believed in Shao 8. Shao 8 is widely regarded as one of the best captains in the game, and he shouldn't disappoint here.
What kind of tempo do you expect to see this game between these two sides? Are we going to see a lot of action early on, or is it going to be very defensive play from both teams in the first kind of 10 minutes laning stage?
A lot of action. DK tends to breed that sort of game when he starts pushing towers, and you never really want to concede towers. You want to be able to protect your neutrals, and that's your first bastion of defense versus those. And DK starts sieging level 6.
And at the moment, in terms of the lanes, nothing too out of the ordinary. Jijing heading to that off lane on the Nyx Assassin. No sort of aggressive lanes coming out from either side at the moment. But this mid lane matchup, as you said, talking about the DK, someone who kind of is going to force that high action early on.
He's pulling the Kaka, just chilling there. So most of the games that I've seen him, he likes to dual offlane with Yao a lot. Like Sanking Leshrag was pretty common for him, and just wants to make sure that Yao does have a good game. But this game, Yao's actually just versus 2 melee heroes in the bottom lane. We see Ame and XZ, Ogre, and Lifestealer, and that's kind of the dream of the Sanking, where you can't really get zoned out at level 1. Or he's in a fair amount of trouble. He's taking a lot of harassment.
Yeah,
bottom.
Indeed, Yao being chased down. Mid lane we saw as well, Zhao managed to get up 5 stacks. Actually missed the 6th one, so he was able to reset. And indeed, we'll see where Zhao decides to head to next. Jijing at the moment, trying to do his best to slow down En's farm on the Juggernaut. And Victoria actually already making the movement up towards the top lane as well. Stacks starting to be created over on the side of LFY. Jijing eyeing up DDC at the moment. Throwing down a fair bit of harassment. Not feeling too scared of this duo at the moment, especially knowing that he's going to have the backup of Victoria in the neighborhood if he wants to try and go for some sort of aggressive play.
I think LGD.ForeverYoung had a pretty good plan with the first phase LC. Like, his LC was very, very impressive, and as maybe said, he just likes the hero. So it's something that's nice for them to take away. Opens up some more picks for them potentially, even though I guess the OD was banned out. But they need to be able to put pressure on this lane. The Silencer is like a pretty greedy hero sometimes, and he's excellent at zoning out one hero, but he loses a lot of value when there's more than one hero in the lane.
Now obviously, though, with the fact that Victoria's headed up to top of the IO to put pressure on there, it's left the mid lane up a little harder for Maybe. He was starting to fall behind. He has caught back up. We keep seeing Zhao kind of heading over to the lane, back to the jungle, making the stacks, trying to make as much happen as he can in this early stage. DDC able to snipe the bouncy. Victoria heading him off, but yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how Zhao back kind of continues on for this game, as we obviously, as you said, saw it earlier in the series where Kaka played it, and it didn't really result so much. But Zhao, you feel like this man, he's going to have a bit of a better chance this time making the support back work.
Definitely so. Especially, he's just playing straight greedy, and he knows that Wisp isn't going to come into his jungle, and then Ogre is in full vision of bottom lane, and he's also a little lucky that he didn't get any Centaur camps. Centaurs combined with Hellbears is very difficult, especially for a level 2 Bat Rider, but 3 camps, no Centaurs. He's a happy bat.
Down on the bottom again, yeah. Getting a rest back, yet to hit level 2 on this bottom lane, so the Sand King having to play very, very careful. And I guess, as you mentioned, the fact that Zhao not been down here making this dual lane kind of work out aggressively against LGD, the Sand King's starting to suffer in these early stages. He's not finding as much as maybe he wanted to from this lane. Isn't really being able to do anything in terms of slowing down the farm of Ame, who's currently sitting 15 to 10 on par with the Jug of LFY.
Yeah, not too worried though. Again, the bat just getting so much and just having free farm of his own jungle is pretty crucial for them. And Io's also not been able to play greedy. He's up here babysitting Jixing, and he's not able to pull and get level 6 really early, which is what you want to be able to do. Or stack for the Shadow Fiend, which is definitely important because Shadow Fiend has to do the majority of the damage. The panel was worried about lack of damage, and I am in no disagreement.
Zhao rotating back round towards the mid. Just a couple of stacks of Napalm, keeping Maybe on his toes, making sure that the lane matchup continues to create a bit more space for this DK. Super still on par pretty much with Maybe's SF. His Zhao kind of appearances not seeming to do enough in terms of slowing down Maybe's farm. He's still finding everything that he needs to in this mid lane matchup.
He's doing a lot of small things though. He's kind of threatening mid. And Io, there is no target for him to tether
Could
to.
be trouble. He does need Maybe to head over. Maybe should be there in time. Yeah, indeed for the save. Victoria, simple tether across. He's okay. Well, in fact, supercharging in on the mid lane. He's got his eyes on Victoria. In fact, with the race, they'll just turn it around though. Maybe getting the kill. Victoria's going to survive, and maybe he's even going to get another one out of this. What the hell happened there? I think our observer moved away to just avoid showing that play from LFY because it was not It did not. He just charged straight in there, Super.
Yeah, he got hit by a double raise. DK's tanky, but he, oh my goodness, the level disparity too. Level 4.5 on the Dragon Knight versus now the level 6.5 on the Shadow.
This lane got so much harder for Super.
Yeah, he just tanked 2 level 3 raises. He actually went for the level 1 and stun too. So the couple of tower hits hitting him without that extra 3 armor. Wow, that's very costly.
Absolutely, and Victoria, after getting his job done in the mid, helping out, maybe turn that one around, head straight back towards the top lane. XC's turned up as well. They're looking for DDC, and well, they'll continue to chase him down with the Ignite. So level 3 Ogre, it's pretty scary here for the Silencer. He'll try and turn it around with the Curse, and coming in with the Blade Fury, focusing Victoria first. They'll lose the Eye, but they have lost the Silencer, so it's a 1-for-1 at the moment, and continues to try and chase down Jijing, turns around with the stun, holds back the Jug. Xiao trying to move across with the Firefly, but Jijing already salving up. He'll be okay. So it just ends up the 1-for-1 trade up on this top lane.
And now this mid lane, I mean, Super was not doing that poorly on CS, but now that Shadow Fiend doesn't really require any help from the Wisp, he's kind of free to do whatever they want. Now they can make aggressive maneuvers with their supports instead of actually just trying to shore up their lanes and Xiao 8. No Firefly up for 13 seconds. Doubt he's going to chase up there, especially when the stack timer is so close.
And it really is interesting to see the amount of denies that this lifesteal is getting done on this bottom lane. I mean, checking the SK's level at the moment,
there's a smoke.
Managed to find level 4. Smoking around towards the rune spot, maybe. Eyes onto Xiao, but Xiao with the Firefly back on, off cooldown. He's up to the high ground. Maybe turns around, 1 raise, 2 raise, brings Xiao incredibly low, but they've already lost the Io here. Victoria, the first casualty. Xiao keeps himself alive, will, by the looks of it, deny himself to the Ancients. So at the end of the day, it's LGD losing 1, and Xiao escaping just by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, he's just a little bit far enough ahead that he could take that level 7 raise. And in the meantime, bottom lane's been pretty peaceful. Now that the Ogre has left the lane, Yao's able to pick up a lot of levels, almost level 5 on this. Unfortunately, his CS is suffering in the meantime, only sitting at 6.
The push starting to come in from LGD on this mid lane. Bloodlust is SF. Trying to get a bit of damage down off the tower, but Super still holding tight. And as you said, the fact that bottom lane is getting freed up, it's all good news for the Sand King. Top lane as well, even though there was a bit of action there earlier, it's not been enough to kind of shake Jug off his game.
And I'm watching Xiao jungle a little bit. He actually didn't choose to stack at the 7-minute mark. He saw the Centaur camp and just, it was at like 650. He didn't decide to pull. He just went for it, maybe thinking that it's too inefficient if he gets 2 Centaur camps.
And now at this point, I mean, Xiao, are we just going to see him just stay in the jungle and work towards that blink, or can he still offer much in the lanes in terms of coming in with the rotations at this stage with the levels that he has?
I think he has to come in with rotations considering how poorly the lanes have been doing. Like DK can't really exert any pressure on the towers, and Jixing is level 6 at the moment, so if he's not careful, Nexus Assassin can just come in and kill the Bat Rider and steal his stacks. So he will continue, stack up and farm because they have vision on Nexus Assassin on the left side of the map. I did see a scan come out, and it did miss. It's pretty much where Nexus Assassin is right now. Maybe perhaps scared of Silencer +1 ganking the Shadow Fiend, but I was already there.
See if anyone gets a good action happen. It's going to be a haste again on Super. Last time with that extra bit of speed, it didn't end up too well for him in the mid lane. So.
Yeah, I joke about it being like an invulnerability rune, because that's kind of how you feel when you have the rune. You're like, I can do anything.
I think Super, he took it too literally, yeah. The first time round. Jixing ready to go here with a bit of a surprise lifestealer movement. They do have this Dire Observer ward up at the moment, and quick pings out. They know that he's in the neighborhood. They may not know that the lifestealer's there. Lifestealer, of course, not showing in lanes, so we'll see how LFY reads the situation, and indeed, it looks like they're well aware of what's going on. They're playing incredibly safe.
Well, they know that he can't get a kill by himself.
Yeah.
Especially on the Juggernaut, there's like no chance. So he has to have someone inside of him. And looking at the bottom lane, XZ is on the bottom just farming alone as an Ogre. So that's a pretty clear sign that Lifestealer is indeed inside of
really smart scan as well from LFY. They're reading this movement perfectly. They know that he's there. Still, they're pushing out the lane pretty deep with Super. In fact, he's got the haste rune still, so he'll immediately just haste away from the mid lane. And indeed, at the end of the day there, LFY just having LGD's number, they knew that movement was coming in, and unsuccessful gank, and these kind of movements, they do cost for LGD, because it's time off the map where your lifestealer isn't farming.
Ooh, he gets caught out without his rage.
And if he's dying as well, it's going to be even worse. They have the lasso dragging him under the tower. Arme's out, and they may even lose more than move in from end with the Blade Fury to take down Jixing. They've lost 2, and that Lifestealer Nyx Assassin rotation couldn't have ended any worse there, really, for LGD, losing 2 members, the Lifestealer included.
The ranged instant cast DK stun got him by surprise, it looks like, and he was at like 30% HP with no infest target in sight before he was even able to pop the rage, and that gets him much needed levels and some int to the silencer. They really want his level 6 so they can combo with that Batrider ult, although the Blink Dagger is still a little bit of time away, but Xiao8 will get a fair amount of time to peacefully farm up. 10-minute rune about to spawn, no kill rune it seems for maybe.
Just going to be picking up a regen. What kind of SF build do you think we're going to be seeing this game from him? Is he going to go for the Shadow Blade or anything else first that needs to be prioritized?
I think Shadow Blade's a little bit redundant with the Nyx Assassin. They can already get him to set up for the gank. So yeah, he gets caught out by stun, and like by the time he rages, he's pretty much already dead. Just gets dragged into no man's land, and Jixing tries to save him, but despite the help of the Wisp, he will perish.
Yeah, very unfortunate positioning there. Having the lifesteal on the front lines, and LFY are going to be decided to punish it. Also in the mid lane, take the tower, but LFY Super was able to get the deny. So continuing to try and do the best at minimizing the lead of LGD in terms of gold in top lane. Jixing could be in trouble. Ends moving forward with the Blade Fury. Has an Omni Slash good to go as well. Jixing trying to get himself out of range of the potential Sentry Ward. And he will, for the time being, avoid the first one, but a second Sentry's there, ready from DDC, drops it down, allows N to finish off the kill.
And one of the main concerns, never mind, bottom lane, Yao.
Yeah, taken down LGD. They will find one in return. Actually going to have Xiao8 coming in with the lasso. Super with the Dragon Form trying to fight, focusing down, maybe, turns around, throws out of race, but he's down. They've lost the SF, and with the Blade Fury cutting them down low, Arme trying to man fight up against the Juggernaut, and he might just do it one more touch and he'll find it. He's lost Victoria. Arme left behind, but with the armlet, he should be able to toggle his way out of this one. And Xiao8 indeed has to be careful how close he gets, because this Lifestealer could have very well turned around and chomped him down as well. A bit of a messy fight there behind the tier 1. Arme gets out alive though. Overall gold just slightly going the way of LGD, but it's a pretty close trade.
Yeah, I think that LFY had to blow way more ultimates though for that. And gives LGD time in to perhaps rotate in with the Vendetta, which is about to cool down, relocate. I guess Lifestealer needs a little bit more HP before all of this is possible, however. But no problem with a Wisp on your team.
And just off the back of that fight, Victoria now with that level 6, so LGD.FY have to be careful of the Vendetta into relocate ganks. And as we can see here, just maybe getting caught on the front line, and the end gets a huge amount of good damage out with this Blade Fury as they're not able to do anything to bring him down through it. Until Arme comes out after the end of it all. Healing Ward at this stage, not enough to outdo the damage of that Armlet Lifestealer. Crucial pickup, and having it this time allows them to do stuff like this. Arme just picks up another with the help of Victoria and XZ. End's coming forward with the Blade Fury. He's going to try and punish the IO. Victoria, look at the juke, the tether across. He might just live, and he does. Victoria survives. End's now stuck in the trees. Arme and XZ surrounding him. They're going to bring down the Juggernaut again in another bit of action on this bottom half of the map. Victoria will finally pop at the end of it all, but we can see these IO's plays just enabling this Lifestealer to go absolutely ham in these skirmishes.
Yeah, they're having to focus so much on everyone else, and knowing that if Wisp doesn't die, the hero that they're focusing is not going to die. So he is priority number 1. Unfortunately, they don't have any Blink Daggers or a good way to jump him in the back, but that should be coming in just a minute, as Batrider is at 2050 gold right now. He's making the support Batrider work.
He really is, but he does need to make big plays happen once he gets it. The side lanes are getting pressured in. We're seeing this push from maybe. They took the tier 1, half of the damage down on the tier 2. And then we have it, the item you spoke of, the blink for the bat. Xiao8 has the item ready and waiting. Arme's got the Echo Saber though as well, so he has to be careful with the ways that he jumps in. A failed initiation, and this Lifestealer could turn around with the help of Victoria on the IO and chomp him down in a couple of touches.
They do have Global Silence. It has cooled down already. So should be relatively clean if he can find the jump, and LGD has no vision over there, and with the aid of the smoke, perhaps the Nyx Assassin can break it out, but
it's a good jump in. Immediately onto Arme. The Global Silence is going to be that Victoria can't help him out at the moment with the tether, and it's not going to come in time. Great execution there from LFY.
Yeah, super easy target. Lifestealer, he thinks he's safe up in front with that armlet and the Wisp behind him, but not expecting that Blink Dagger to be coming out so early.
Moving forward, maybe seeing if they can get anything more, though. LGD are here with a full 4-man. Look at the initiation onto the Sand King, maybe coming in with a few raises, bringing Yao down low, but Yao survives, turns around with a Burrow Strike, and now it's maybe in trouble. He's been kept alive by Victoria, tries for the Requiem, but he's down. They've lost the Shadow Fiend. And LFY, with the very fortunate sequences of events, the first pick-off with that bat blink reveal, then following it through for a second and potentially a third. Victoria did try for the relocate out to save maybe, but he ends up coming back, giving away his own life. In fact, Xiao's not done. He jumps forward. He's looking to chase down Xe as well. Xe will get away. Flame Break, not quite the mana there for Xiao to drop them one out as well. But nonetheless, LFY finding 3 kills, not being punished for it at all. And that bat blink timing was absolutely perfect, man.
Yeah, they wanted to kill the Sand King very early on in the fight, but they didn't actually have sentries to reveal maybe, and they didn't really feel comfortable leading with the Requiem, but they didn't have enough bursts to kill the Sand King. He just turned right back around, stunned the Shadow Fiend, and it's pretty much history from there, as Lifestealer was still in the grave, but Jixing looking around the map. Dire has used Scan. It will ping red, but it will just be the Ogre Magi, unbeknownst to LFY, instead of the payload with the Lifestealer inside.
It'll be interesting to see how confidently LFY can come out on the board now. So heading back to regen, mid lane's getting pushed in by LGD.
And despite the past couple of minutes going pretty well for LGD.ForeverYoung, Yao still does not have his Blink Dagger, and they're kind of waiting for that, it seems, for LFY, because their combo's already very strong with just a lasso and the Silencer ultimate, but imagine that with an Epicenter and a Burrow Strike on top, and maybe he should get a tome at 20 minutes if he's not level 11 by then. They really could use that level 2 ultimate. And on the flip side, LGD definitely need BKB from Shadow Fiend. You see how easily he's focused down, and they need some counterplay to the silence.
I mean, that's what I was going to say. How do you deal with this combo, the bat blink lasso into global silence?
There's a few ways to deal with it. Firstly is like Greaves, Lotus Orb, Yules, and BKB. I guess Manta too, but Manta's not really going to be like a first or second item for Shadow Fiend this game. But the problem is, like, you need to be able to prevent the lasso from happening, and a lot of that is due to the Nyx Assassin. If you can stand in the Firefly with Spike Carapace, then you won't be dragged all the way back into the clutching grips of LFY. So I think it's more important that the Nyx Assassin perhaps goes for something else. I'm not sure what you would go for. I guess a Greaves Rush perhaps on the Nyx Assassin. He hasn't really made signs of going for a Blink Dagger, but it does seem like he needs something immediately to deal with that.
Whatever he goes for, he's going to get a bit of a cash boost towards it as LGD take the top tier 2. In return, LFY find the tier 1 on the bottom lane. They're starting to open up this half of the map as well, around that Roshan pit. Whether any side goes for it anytime soon, we'll be to wait and see. BKB only 100 or so gold away from maybe. And at that point as well, yeah, Armlet for DK. Super's got that ready for the fight.
That's his first item, though. And I guess the only way for him to catch up is really like Ancient Stacks or surviving the fights. But look at the difference in the mids right now. Maybe he's like 4,000 net worth above, and the position ones are pretty close. But by the same token, Xiao 8 is way ahead of his counterpart.
Absolutely, yeah. Xiao 8 with this play that could have potentially be questioned after we saw a little bit of a lackluster about support performance earlier. He's certainly seeming to make it work this time in this matchup. Final series of the day. As you mentioned, key items coming out from the side of LFY. Yao now has the Blink Dagger on the Sand King, and they're smoked up. They're ready to go. Ready to try and allow these fights to enable Super to potentially catch up as well if they want. But it looks like for the moment being, Super's actually going to hang back. So it's LFY just smoking up with the 4 of them, looking to make something happen with these newfound items on their course.
I think they might have smoked close to the Radiant Observer Ward. There is a sentry plop down right outside their T3, in between the T3 and the T2, which is kind of trumped by the Observer Ward to the side. So looks like LGD are wise to LFY's ways. And there is an Ancient Black Dragon that gets lassoed back. Are they going to be able to combo with Global?
Taking him down once with the Omni and the Global. They're bringing him down low. There's a bit of a surprise. That could maybe be the high ground with the BKB. The Requiem comes out. Burst down. Yao turns towards Xiao 8. And LFY were not expecting to run up into that, and the pain may not be over yet. Arme looking to chase down N. Can he get in range for the open wound? Still 5 seconds cooldown. Super's there as well. Arme's continuing to move forward. Will be held back by the initial Dragon Tail from Super. And LGD, they will calm themselves. They won't go for anything more there. But a very, very impressive bit of play there from Maybe.
That's almost an impossible timing to get for DDC. He tried to global right as soon as he pops out, but I believe if you global before he pops out, he's not going to be effective. So you can see that he's raged before, and like they have like Breathe Fire, they have like Dragon Tail, anything to lock him down, but now they have to chase uphill and maybe not wanting to waste their ultimate. So I mean, it seems like that Ancient Black Dragon just was a huge play for them.
The Black Dragon bait.
Yeah, they had a little lasso on it.
Certainly seeming to work out here for LGD. 10-12 though still, even though LFY leading in kills. It's the net worth values that are looking pretty impressive for LGD. Maybe 10,500 at the moment on his Shadow Fiend.
They also have much more physical damage for Roshan. So if they get more ahead, they can do more with their lead. Yao is on the sideline.
Yeah, it's got the epicenter at the ready.
Yeah, there is no
Lasso's
Wisp
back up.
Wisp balls sometimes. You can see heroes in the fog, which is especially important against the Bat and the Sand King, but at the same time you give your positioning away with the Wisp balls, and it looks like he's choosing to play it a little bit more safe, headed a little bit to the southeast, just in case one of his cores get caught out.
They are going to go in for this push. No global silence for this defense. Ame already going straight in fact, focusing down Xiao8 with the Fire Blast. They'll take him out. Yao building the epicenter coming in. It's only a Burrow Strike onto the Io though. Victoria falling low. They do drop the Io in return, but maybe pops the BKB, focuses towards Yao, forces the SK to retreat. There'll be a buyback from Victoria, relocating into the fight to enable Ame to potentially look for more. Stun coming in onto the jump. It's a 5-man Burrow Strike though from Yao. He's popped Io. He's popped the Ogre. Maybe still trying to fight for it all. Falling down, and the global silence goes back off cooldown. They're going to try and tip it up, but Yao, he's there again with the burrow to finish him up. But at the end of the day, Yao's flashy plays are not enough. They've lost 4, ends on his way back to the base, and LGD will find the tier 2. There's some baller plays there from Yao.
Xiao8, that all started off with what he thought would just be able to aggro the creep wave. He popped a flame break down, and then he gets immediately carapaced, and
just look at this Burrow Strike.
That Burrow Strike is so good. 5 heroes, and then the Wisp with the dieback there, and Yao always has the right idea. He goes for the Wisp first every single time, and maybe it looks like he's going to take down. He actually missed a raise on Sand King that potentially could have prevented that disastrous 5-man Burrow Strike, and perhaps save him at the end. But still, LGD, I would say, come ahead.
Yeah. I mean, Yao kind of giving his life there at the end to ensure that he got the kill onto maybe. Burrow striking straight into that Death Requiem. But, I mean, you said about 21 minutes in, 14-16, a lot of action between these two sides. And still definitely the potential for either side to take it. But as you mentioned, certainly overall feeling slightly in LGD's favor, do you feel, coming out of the landing stage?
Just a little bit, because I think the LFY's cores are way underfarmed.
Like, you look at Super
DK. Is, in particular, struggling. And all this net worth is pretty much just Super being behind. Maybe it's about 4,500 net worth that he's behind on Super. And he especially needs BKB, I think. So he doesn't have to deal with the Lifestealer like eating away at him, but more importantly, not getting Sunlock from the Nyx.
I mean, as you said, one of the things kind of making up for Super's suffering is the fact that Xiao8 is looking very good on the support bat. Has the drums now complete as well, so if they do find the potential for a jump in, they'll certainly be able to rip out a member of LGD and take them down. Talking about LGD, they're in the Roche pit. LFY has scanned the movements outside of the pit.
But they haven't smoked. Now this Observer Ward will see Xiao8. I believe it saw him as he turned that tree in.
That would have clipped him as he comes forward. So they know that LFY are thinking about coming in. It didn't catch out the backup in smoke.
Radiant has to use scan. Are they going to run into the left side? Oh,
it's already down. Yeah, maybe he's got it.
They were way too slow with the TPs right there. We only saw 2 heroes, and they only saw 1 hero with the Observer Ward, but they don't want to smoke us too. How are they actually going to win a fight there?
Smoke on smoke here from both sides. Yijing leading the way. Ame in tow. He's got that Lifestealer ready inside of him. He'll move towards Super, but immediately the jump in return with the stuns. The global side is coming out as well. The start to drag back the Nyx Assassin, but they can't finish him off. Maybe he's brought in by Victoria. They'll surround on DDC in the sidelines. Silences out. They've lost Yijing. It's a 1-for-1 at the moment, and Manta starting off the open wounds. He's only going to be able to chomp down on the illusions. End will escape. So big ults blown there. Just end up just being a 1-for-1. Super having to hide in the tree line. 10 seconds until that TP is ready, and that is going to be 10 seconds where LGD can see if they are able to get a bit of pressure on this bottom lane.
You can tell the experience difference between the both sides too. I think like DDC is a relatively old player and Jixing's a very new player, and he didn't pop his carapace immediately. Like the Dragon Knight popped in smoke, and as soon as that moment happens, you just blow everything just because you need to be able to get the jump. So DDC blows global immediately, and Nyx didn't get his Spike Carapace off in time.
I mean, this is scary, but look at this push coming in from LGD. It doesn't look like LFY have have the tools to stop. They have an epicenter. Yao starting to build it up. He needs something bigger. Jumps in. Burrow strike straight into the middle. Onto maybe bringing him down low. Maybe cursed up as well. BKB is still on cooldown here for the SF, but he has the Aegis ready for round 2. They'll lose XZ though on the sidelines. They've lost Victoria as well. Zhao will survive. Firefly back up to the base. Yao comes in with a burrow strike once again. The brief fire from Super. They found 3. Dragon Tail onto maybe as well. LFI will clean up. Triple kill for Super. They'll certainly help him step back into this game, but they did lose the melee racks.
LGD, they wanted to hit that sweet spot where LFI were still waiting for that respawn timer, but they didn't wait out for their BKB. So Shadow Fiend, his first life, he was the one that kind of protecting his entire team, and as soon as he falls, even with a 5-second Aegis respawn, like he lost 2 supports, and very shortly thereafter his life stealer and then his own life. So they need to be able to keep AB alive, and he needs to be able to keep the Dire Heroes at bay with a BKB Requiem.
And with the momentum of that fight, LF1 themselves going to make something happen with this push down mid. GG has eyes on them at the moment. We'll see in 10 seconds the 2 cores coming back.
He's always scared. You can tell in his mentality. He's like, they've had a couple Sentry Wars for me before, and he's just not very confident in his movements. He's showing around the map a lot. He's a little bit scared with his Spike Carapace, and looks like he's just going to go for a safe build and go for the Glut of Hasten to perhaps a Midas into a Scepter, expecting it to go a little bit late. But I think a more experienced Nyx Assassin could have actually dominated this game. He's actually behind Xiao 8 in terms of farm, and is always looking for heroes, maybe calling in for a relocate, but it's still very, very risky. I mean, can they do it?
Yao can maybe play his way around this. Yeah, immediately just sandstorms it goes off.
See, with that, you want to be able to pop his blink at the very least. Like, even if you just hit him and then you miss the stun, at least you'll pop his blink, and then maybe you can catch him out after that. But you know, maybe it's not his most familiar hero, and that's why they target him first with the LC ban.
Yeah, maybe nerves just showing here for Jijing on the main stage. He needs to pull it together, though. Single elimination, of course. It's just game 1.
And Yao's, I think, playing very well, given the situation that he was in.
This Sand King, he has come up with some massive plays. And
very quick reflexes on that blink out, too. Xiao 8, scouting around. No heroes in the trees. They're all grouped up. And they catch a whiff of LGD as the Observer Ward. Sees 3 in the mid lane. But let's see, the Nyx Assassin, they know that he's not on him now, but more importantly, the Wisp. They don't see the Wisp yet, so they're searching for him first. That's who you want to lasso, that's who you want to Epicenter Burrow Strike. Maybe not waste Omni Slash on him. I think it's better suited for the Shadow Fiend or the Life Stealer. And Life Stealer hasn't built a way to deal with the global. Oftentimes, you'll see maybe like a Manta, I would say, is becoming far more common on the Life Stealer, although we usually see it versus the, what's the hero? Treant Protector.
The Treant, yeah. Yeah, with the root and such. LGD actually smoked up.
Yeah, they did smoke up under the ward.
Now, they're probably going to be prepared for this. We'll see if they just avoid it or if they want to try and capitalize on it and get themselves in with any sort of a wraparound. At the moment, I'll bring him back. Jug as well.
Super has BKB. They have the 4-step up, so whoever gets initiated on is likely super ready for this.
Radiant have scanned it out. They know that LFI is waiting on the high ground and immediately jumping in. Super's going to move forward. Global Silence will come out. They're going to look to try and they get a good lasso onto Ame, bringing him up to the high ground. Super will BKB, Dragon Form, head back. Yao goes in with a 2-man Burrow Strike. They're bringing the Life Stealer down low and Ame's out. He's the first casualty here, and LFI aren't done. They'll turn towards XZ. Xiao 8 jumping forward, seeing if he can make anything more happen out of this one. Victoria's out to the south. Yao moving forward. He's going to jump in. They've still got the detection on the side of it all. Jijing turns around with a stun, but he's in trouble as well. The Sandstorm comes through, and with a final touch, bricks up the triple. Super and Xiao finding the 4th. Victoria on the side of it all. And it really feels like these last 5 minutes, it's starting to swing all in favor of LFY, even though they lost those racks early on the bottom lane.
Yeah, that fight was a lot of surprise with the 4-step. Like, the Life Stealer, he has to take a few seconds to like walk to the DK as he gets 4-step down the cliff, and then on top of that, the BKB, which he just picked up. I don't think there's any way that they could have really seen that coming from him, and they thought they could take the fight. I don't really blame them for that. I guess you could like expect the timing, but they feel a little bit pressured at least to make some plays perhaps before the next Roshan respawn, especially when they possess such a great lead before. But, you know, the later game goes, Life Stealer isn't going to scale up as well against the Jug.
Just look at this as well. Super, he gets forced into what seems to be an awful position to be in, but just the army of the BKB, right, he's out of there.
The flame break pushed Ame back up the hill after the stun from Yao. So, like, Yao and Xiao 8
Here's the man himself, Xiao. A perfect composure, and understandable as well with the amount of experience this man has. Turning up to a land like this, he's absolutely in his element. He's not going to feel out of place at all, and it's showing here with this Batrider performance so far in Game 1.
Yeah, even the play calling and the teamwork is much better from LFY at this point. Like they aren't able to burst anyone down with the Nyx Assassin stun. They aren't really able to protect Ame on the lifestealer. Some great individual play, but their teamwork and their chemistry is a little bit lacking compared to their sister team.
Waiting around the Roche pit again. Still not yet to hit the minimum timer. Drop a ward down. And we can see LFY.
How long are they going to wait?
I mean, it's not even hit the minimum time yet, so they're not going to know when it's going to be back up as of yet.
So Dyer's use scan. Looks like they don't have a smoke, but they do have the gem up. This time it is on Super, and Super has picked up his farm a lot and picked up a lot of armor. So Lifestealer doesn't really want to target him. Like if you see him out in front, you kind of just want to ignore him and go to the back line. But you need to pop your rage early so you don't get stunned and just die. So it's a tricky situation for the Lifestealer, who has to rely a lot on the Nyx Assassin to set things up. Get him in a good position and stun lock Hero so that he can burst him down before his first rage is over.
Absolutely, as you mentioned, Super. He didn't have the start that perhaps he wished he did, but he has already found that point where they just can't burst him down in an initial jump in. If he gets the chance to BKB an armlet, he's going to survive. And LGD won't be able to find the kill onto him. They could try for the heroes around him, but as we're seeing with these fights continuing each and every time, LFY seem to have the better calls, better team play.
And better team play items. Yeah. Juggernaut has a BKB on himself. That's not usually like a second or third item.
BKB and Manta, it's incredibly defensive.
Yeah, but all they need to do is prevent Nyx Assassin from really stunning them. Ogre, it's an Ogre without an Aether Lens, so he can't really stun lock people, and if you were doing that, you'd probably gamble a little bit on luck, which isn't ever something that you want to rely on. So it's all in the Nyx Assassin. If he can't burst down someone, they'll all pop their BKBs, pop their global, and just run at LGD, burst down the IO, kite the lights to his rage, and it's history from there. So if LGD can equalize it 5-on-4 in exchange for all their ultimates at the start of that fight, I think then it's kind of even for them.
I'm talking about BKBs. Xiao has his ready for the next fight, so certainly this hero that you're potentially looking to counter with the early Nyx Assassin pick in the draft is now kitted up to be prepared for what you have to answer to this bat.
Yeah.
So Jijing's game's going to get even harder now, and he's already starting to struggle a little bit in this matchup.
He's useless versus BKBs, unless you get the stun off before BKBs, which we have not seen yet from Jijing. And Xiao,
he's got to be careful. Bat. Yeah, he's
close.
He's got that gem on him, Xiao. Jijing has to be careful how he reveals himself in this lane at the moment, just sapping up some of the XP. Eyeing up the teammates of LFY. And LFY as well, we've seen ever since kind of the 25-minute or so.
Another smoke.
Yeah, consistently moving as 5. They're not letting themselves get caught out by any sort of relocate gank, any setup from Jijing with the Vendetta, Impale. And they themselves are the ones playing aggressively, moving over to the LGD's half of the map. And this Dire Ward, it's allowing them to do so. They've seen LGD move up to the high ground, and he's the perfect jump in this ward, giving them the intel that they know, to know that Ame is on his own, locked down by the lasso. That's going to be the Lifestealer out of it, and they're going to even find more of this Omni Slash from End. He's not messing around, chops down Jijing. End now godlike at this state of the game, and it just feels like LGD have just fallen off whatever momentum they had off the start of the laning stage, Ben, and how do they even start to come back from this? They're falling behind heavily.
They need to get roast. I think that's what they were eyeing for, but they just have no map control right now. LFY have around the map, they have gems, they have mass BKBs, and you can tell how safe of a team they are. Like, as soon as you jump them, they just all pop their BKBs. Like, screw it, I'm not going to get stunned by Nyx Assassin. This guy has to die immediately. And I mean, you can try and outpush them, but Shadow Fiend with the wisp.
They're doing it. They are trying for that second set of racks in the mid lane over in the Dire base. And they're going to lose that of their own mid. Melee racks are down. They've lost one, and End now TPing back. He's ready to try and stop this, put an end to this rack coming in from maybe in Victoria. Look at the tier 3 at least, and will be relocated back out.
Can Victoria, he use a TP trick perhaps?
Is he going to try
Victoria?
For it? He could try for it. He's got it in his kit.
Nope.
Nah, he's accepting his fate by the looks of it. Victoria heads back and will be taken down. So at least with the rat, they do get the tier 3. They finish off the range racks, but it does cost them the melee racks in the middle. But do you feel that was potentially a loss anyway? So that kind of play, you just have to go for it, Ben. Find something at least in trade.
I think it means that they're not confident in their team fight right now. If you're confident in your team fight, you take that fight. You're like up your T3, but Yao has just consistently been causing them so many issues. Nyx has constantly been a non-factor in these fights, so I think it's the right play from them. And perhaps this will be the fight that they're looking for. XZ's smoke pops. Xiao8 has no idea except that the ward was just placed down, and now he has to be a little bit wary, and he does not get stunned.
But immediately Xiao8 gets the BKB and the lasso off. He keeps himself safe, gets back up to the high ground. Ame trying to move forward with the rage, but he gets no sort of killer lockdown with that initial movement, and now he's got to back up. But the jump force there, Yao with the epicenter, bringing Ame down low. He's stunned up, left alone, and that's the life down for 70 seconds on the sidelines. N chops down one. He's got the diffuser blade charge onto maybe. Toggling it off here with the Manta style, trying to run himself away, but N continues to be persistent. Yao's there with the bow strike, maybe pops the BKB. He'll try for the Requiem, but N with the blade through, avoiding initial damage, and they'll find the kill with Super's physical damage. They've lost 3 yet again. LGD now being doubled in kills by LFY. LFY, they're also going to get the Roshan, and this it's just gone immensely downhill here for the Radiant Ben.
They had a really good chance of winning that fight, but Xiao8 was too fast with his BKB. He BKB'd as soon as the Nyx blinks in, and then they all pop their BKBs, and Nyx just, as soon as that happens, you know that you've lost the fight. But, you know, maybe he's trying his best. I think there's a big skill disparity between some of the members of LGD, and Jixing, he has to be able to get these initiations, and it's just super tough. They're always ready for it. They know that if he misses a stun, then they're going to lose the fight. It's not like a game where you can pop your BKB like too early. You know, sometimes there's that like, oh god, I popped my BKB too early. We need to get out. But like in general, if they see the Nyx assassin anywhere, they'll just pop their BKB, and that becomes a lot easier after they have the gem. So I don't know if they have superior vision, maybe, but now they have 0 observer wards up on the map.
LGD certainly being pressured into a corner. In terms of base defense, Jixing obviously be looking towards that Aghanim Scepter. He's just over halfway there in terms of gold. He's almost certainly going to need it for the next time that LFY come in, so they've got at least something to help against this push that's getting bigger and bigger. And now with a butterfly complete, you've got both this Dragon Knight and Jug that can just head up to the high ground, hammer down on the towers, and feel confident in the backup that the rest of their team has to jump in at any chance that the LGD themselves try and look for a fight on the defensive.
Yeah, Yao is clearly the more experienced player in this head-to-head matchup and just been involved in a lot more kills. If we could see like stun duration, I'm sure Yao would be like way ahead of the Nyx, despite Nyx having 2 stuns and Sand King only 1. And yeah, in this game is... They've also have not itemized against a Silencer. Like Silencer is... Well, he was first pick, so you know what you're going to be up against.
Yeah, in the first
phase. And Shadow Fiend's the only one that has anti-silence items. He has the Manta and the BKB. But it's really like the supports and the offlaner that really need the items to deal with the global silence. Like you need to be able to catch your spells in the team fight before you die. And Nyx Assassin, I'm not sure what he's going for with his Ring of Health. It could be Aether Lens, but I don't know. I think it's a little bit late for Aether. It could also be a Lotus Orb because he already has an energy booster. I'm not sure which one he's going to go for, but I talked about it like before he got the Blink Dagger. It's like, okay, he has the Blink Dagger, but now what? Like, if you're going to get the Blink Dagger, you have to hit your stuns. If you're not confident that you can hit your stuns, you go anti-global build so that you can actually do something before they get their BKBs.
Xiao8 leading the way here. He's got eyes on them as they come out to the high ground. Underneath this ward, immediate jump in onto poor old Jixing. He's been having a tough old game, and LFY making sure that it doesn't get any easier. Fair bit of kind of utility is expended for that, though. Xiao8 did pop the PKB, and Global Silence was used.
They're always safe, though. That's their style. Like, he'll BKB on every initiation. They'll pull up Global. They'll, like, overkill with Omni Slash just to make sure that people are dead and they don't lose unnecessary heroes. It's always been a characteristic of Xiao8 teams, and, like, even that jump, like, if they didn't have that ward up there, I'm not sure if they would have gone for that kill. It's like it's almost 100% chance if you actually have vision of them before the jump. And they go for the very, very safe plays. And the only way that would have been stopped is if Nyx hasn't got his blink off, and he has not had the most flashy places. He hasn't been able to outplay LFY at all.
Push coming in on the bottom. Fortification out from LGD. XZ is coming out to the front of it, warding back LFY. Looks like it'll be enough because they have to head back up top. The push is coming in from LGD themselves. Ame, maybe, and Victoria heading in onto the tier 3. Super and Yao coming forward. Yao with the Burrow Strike. Usually to lock down onto maybe. They'll walk it off. Keep themselves alive. Yao looking to chase this one down. Jumps forward. Maybe actually pops the BKB. Turns round, forcing Yao to head back. So BKB charge down for maybe. He will get himself back to base safely. But at this moment, it really is LGD just looking for any opportunity to go for the split push. And do you feel that is the best way for them to play at this stage? Well, can they not just get ready for a full 5-on-5? Are they just too far behind overall?
I think you need an Aegis on the Shadow Fiend or Lifestealer and able to be able to win the fight. You need to be able to survive their first volley of ultimates. Like, they blow all their BKBs, the global silence, and the lasso generally throughout the first couple seconds of the fight. If you can survive that, then LFY have nothing left to fight back with, and then you can kind of roll them with your second wave of rage with Shadow Fiend just right-clicking everybody down, and your supports can actually cast spells because they're not under offensive global silence. So I think that was not the fight for them to take. Like, Juggernaut could easily just Rambo in and kill everyone, lose his life, respawn back, and then just end the game right there. So it's a potentially game-ending decision for LGD to take that fight. So I think waiting closer to the next Roche, waiting for a smoke approach, waiting for another split push opportunity where they can limit LFY's numbers is the best avenue to victory.
I mean, I guess the question is as well, Ben, we're obviously looking at the net worth board, and amongst all the chaos, maybe an Ame are still in pretty fantastic positions on their 2 cores. It's just the other 3 members falling far behind in reaction to the counterparts of LFY. Can the Lifestealer and the SF be enough to carry LGD through this game against LFY's heroes?
Not if they constantly get stun locked without any help. So I guess the Wisp needs to be able to save him out. Oh,
Jijing found himself a bit of a pickup here with the help of Ame and of relocating as well. They do take out Xiao 8. This time, Jijing with a good jump. Immediate stun, no chance for Xiao 8 to react.
What happened to the gem? Oh, okay. So Jixing actually picked up a gem from that engagement. I'm not sure how he got the approach on Xiao 8, but that's a big loss. They need to pick up another gem immediately. And you see LFY do that. Like, even if they can't pick it up immediately, you still want to start that respawn as soon as possible. So now Next Assassin, now he knows, okay, global is an issue. Now he goes for the Lotus Orb, which is really important. It's extremely important for him to do it. He could also, I guess, get a BKB, but this way, if he doesn't think that he's that important, he can also cast it on the Shadow Fiend or the Lifestealer, because they're the ones usually getting lassoed in the team fight. They're the ones that can potentially reflect an Omni Slash, which would be a big play. He can salvage all his early game and mid game mistakes if he just Lotus Orbs 1 Omni Slash, I would say.
Super picking up the blink, maybe. Demon Edge, 2.2k towards the, what I'd imagine to be that MKB for the SF to help deal with N's Butterfly. Mate, it just begs to be seen what he goes for next. Stunning stockpile of the gold. Is there any item in particular that you feel that will massively benefit the Lifestealer in this match?
It's tough for him. He only has 1 item slot left. You can replace your Echo Saber, but it's a tough call. Like, if you want to go more tanky, you can go for Heart. It's not a common pickup, but he kind of just needs to survive, so maybe he can do damage. If you want to go for anti-BKB, you go for
I was going to say, does he need a BKB himself, in fact? Is it enough to rely on Jixing's Lotus Orb to help him through the global silence, through the rage?
The thing is, I'm not confident in Jixing's initiation this game, so Abyssal wouldn't be the best choice.
Talking about initiation, Xiao gets the perfect jump in onto maybe, starts to drag him back. He's going to be Lotus Sword by Jixing, trying to help him out, but the Pro Strike comes through and they've lost maybe. Down for 70 seconds, Ame trying to turn around, focus Super, but Super, he has too much armor. Ame tries to TP out, but he gets stunned up. They've lost 3 again. LGD losing these fights where Xiao 8 finds the perfect jump in, and there's nothing that they can do in return.
They're using all their smokes to perfection, really, and yeah, just killing maybe like that with no counterplay. Like, Wisp can't relocate out because he has nothing to deal with the global silence. Is just hugely problematic. And you mentioned like the support being underfarmed. In this game, it matters a lot.
Buyback's coming out here, and will be stunned up and shoved to the side as well, trying to keep it alive. Maybe focusing down onto Super, but Super is too damn tanky. The Omni Slash comes out, but it was Lotus Orb there. And in comes the epicenter though from Yao, bring them down low. Victorious out, will Buyback to bring himself back into this fight, maybe. Turns towards Yao, they'll find the Batrider at least. They're moving forward for more. Super's BKing, trying to get out there with the TP for the jump, of the race from maybe find Super. They'll find also the Silencer DDC to fall. So they do get the triple. They did have to expend a fair few buybacks there on LGD, as we can see. 4 buybacks now on cooldown, but they hold on with pretty much the first fight where they've come out in terms of numbers in what feels like pretty much the last half of the game.
And really unfortunate for LGD that it's almost a maximum Roshan respawn. It's like 250, so they would have loved to have an Aegis, especially to make up for their lack of buybacks right now, but I think they just go for it. At least force the buyback out of LFY.
But they don't have any buybacks available at the moment. LFY cannot buy back.
You got to YOLO it, dude.
They're without
you
3
go
heroes. This could be a nice little opening to find an extra bit of a bounty here.
You play to win, not to not lose. If they back off right now, you're playing to not lose.
LGD now certainly going to come in and eye at these racks. There will be a fortification. LFY, can they actually hold us this 2 members down? LGD being a little timid. They know that if they lose cores at this stage with the buybacks and cooldown, it's going to be game over, and they are going to go for the risky play. They're going to be backing up, respecting the fact that LFY are going to be back in the game.
They don't have that great of vision up the hill. Like the Sentry Ward immediately takes out the Observer Ward. Xiao8 will get the he will get the vision on it, and it was a little bit risky. Like, it was close to nighttime. Sand King can lead in with the Epicenter. They had smoke on Sand King too, so they were completely ready. And then as soon as he burrow strikes Epis in, you buy back on your Juggernaut, you TP in, you destroy them. So yeah, it was a little bit risky. I think they could have pressed it for maybe a couple more seconds, but realizing they could have lost the game right there probably scared them back. And LFY will smoke up as they try and see if Roshan is up, and it's not.
And we're seeing Xiao8 just getting bigger and bigger. Shiva's guard complete as well. Running for these engagements. Xijing actually playing around down bottom. Does it high up Xiao8? Had Arme inside him, but not feeling confident enough to jump out and go for the kill.
So he's going for Abyssal on the Lifestealer. You asked what should he go for before. Okay. So he seems like he needs more damage, or at least more lockdown during the BKB. I just don't think that he's able to do that much damage just because he's focused a lot. But at the same time, if they focus maybe and he doesn't do enough damage, they can just kind of ignore the Lifestealer. So he still wants to remain like a potent threat in most of the fights. And another member of LGD also has a way to deal with the Global Silence. He's the Ogre Magi with the Guardian Greaves. You usually see it on the Wisp, I would say, in this situation, but Victoria has died 11 times in this game and does not seem like he's going to be able to get out of that silence at all.
Understandable why they're focusing down Victoria as well. I remember seeing him in a series in a group stage playing both Oracle and Io, and this man, if he's given the chance to, he pulls out amazing saves. But this game, LFY certainly knowing how to play around it. One lane, Xijing, and the eyes onto Yan with the jump out. They'll take an immediate kill. That's actually Sand King out. 80 seconds, and he does not have the tools for a buyback. He's still 700 or so gold short, and this is just around when Roshan's going to be respawning.
Yeah, Xijing has been his last 5 minutes, like the Lotus Orb Reflection on Omni Slash, like the 2 picks that he had, one on Xiao8 on top, one on Yao on bottom. These have salvaged the game for them, and LFY hoping perhaps that there was a Roshan respawn, but now it's almost been 10 minutes. Both teams know that Roshan had to be up.
I mean, the question is, can LGD take it before the Sand King's back?
I think they have to capitalize on this somewhat. If they leave the pit too much, then they're just going to concede Roshan themselves. Like, the Juggernaut's very farmed. He can take it out quite easily. And maybe they're waiting for a smoke. I'm looking at the Chicken. Radiant Chicken is just picking up a gem right now. So no gem on the possession of LFY. So Nyx is actually much more potent when you have no idea where he's coming from.
They know that the Roshan's up. Illusion from Maybe scouts it out. LFY, 20 seconds in Yao's back in. So when the Roche fight does kick off, both teams with a full 5-man alive and ready to enter the pit.
Yeah, they have a smoke ready on the Ogre in case they want to make a move. This is one of the most crucial moments in the game, and especially with no buybacks on LGD. They need the Aegis, and they really cannot concede LFY because they can just throw bodies at them at this point. And looks like there are 2 Observer Wards in the mid, and there isn't great vision by LGD. They have 1 on the southern side of the map, but LFY, they have much better coverage of the Roshan area. And let's see, the Sentry Ward does not scout out Xijing yet. They need to have a good clue of where the next assassin is, but 2 cores are already just taking down Roche. Aegis and Cheese will go to LFY.
Absolutely. The speed that they take it out, no way that LGD get there in return. They're trying to find something in trade at least, as you can see the pressure coming out in the top lane from them, but LFY already starting to back up. They're going to be able to hold this defense with that Aegis and such that they've just picked up. And again, LGD just backing up, playing it safe. Probably playing around these timers as well. We're seeing 1 minute and a half, and then the 4 members will have their buyback back off cooldown. The money's there for the SF. Maybe's got that ready. Xijing as well will have the money. Victoria's very close. Arme just needs an extra 1,000. So this last kind of minute or so is going to be the true rocky period here for LGD.
The lanes are in pretty good position, though, for LGD. So I don't think they can actually force the fight in the next minute. I guess it has to be like in the next 30 seconds, or else it'll cool down by the time the fight engages, and then he brings down his HP to 0. And just need to push out mid a little bit more, and as you mentioned, just wait out that buyback, just probably another 40 seconds at this point. But Bat Rider is very farm. He has a Shiva's Guard, so they're kind of well suited to deal with this mass physical damage that Life Stealer and Shadow Fiend will have trouble piercing through. Combine that with the Butterfly and the Juggernaut. I guess there's the MKB already countered that, and then the AC up on the DK.
Ooh,
that's a lot of armor.
Yep, and then the double damage as well on ends, if he's able to find a use of it here in this next just under a minute or so.
Yeah, they took down the Observer Ward, though, so they know that they're around in this area and know that they also don't have buybacks for 30 more seconds.
Let's see how much LFY can get done here.
So there still is a T2 up. So if LFY take the bottom set of the racks, it's not the worst thing in the world. They could wait until the Aegis expired if they consider that a better opportunity for them. And on the flip side, LFY don't actually have any T2s up. So if they push the top lane and attempt to go for a base race, then things could get hairy.
They're losing racks incredibly quick here on the bottom lane. LGD, they'll put the fortification, but no sign of sending heroes down here, so it looks like they're just going to let those ones go. And LFY, they're moving in for more onto the tier 4s. LGD, they need to do something in reaction. At the moment, maybe and Victoria continue to push up the top lane, but they've lost one tier 4. And LGD looks like they just kind of banded up top now. Arme's going to jump in. Now maybe will be brought back. They'll pop down the silencer. BKB's coming out from both sides here as XC, the first casualty on LGD. The epicenter coming through, bringing Arme down low. He keeps himself alive with the effects. Finally dropped. He's out for 100 seconds. Maybe as well. He does have buyback in the SF. Victoria buying back as well. They've got to hold this defense. The 3 members LFY still pushing into the base. Super jumps forward. Dragon's Tail onto maybe. And coming across as well. GG tries for a stun, but it's not going to connect. And just moves around and pops the Mantis though. Continues to focus down the base. Yao comes in with a bow strike, catching out both Victoria and maybe. Maybe turns towards Yao. Yao's going to be taken down, but he's got the Aegis ready for round 2. GG trying to keep ends off the base, but he Blade Furies hits the Ancient, and it's all over. LFY, LGD Forever Young take game 1.
That was a cool maneuver at the end. They wanted to kill the silencer before the fight even started, but Xiao 8 with the quickest lasso on Ame. Like, Xiao 8 played out of his mind this game, and it's on, I think, a harder role to make a big impact in. And he's the captain, so he just has to do so much for his team, but he didn't disappoint.
I mean, that's the thing, Ben. As you said, there was kind of that point where it just became apparent that Xiao 8, his kind of command and his lead was just evidently better there in that game than LGD's.
And the experience of the off lanes.
Yeah.
Like, compare Yao's performance, I think, to Jixing. Although he did play well in the 20 minutes, Yao, I think, delivered a stellar performance throughout the entire 50 minutes of this game.
So what could have LGD done differently there, do you feel, to kind of stop that slip away happen where there was that moment about 25 minutes in where LGD Forever Young just took absolute control of the game?
1 is play around the Nyx better. 2 is hit stuns on the Nyx. And 3 is itemize earlier against the Global Silence. They itemized like starting at like 30 minutes, which is just way too late. The core's already at least maybe started at 15 minutes thinking about, okay, how do I want to deal with Global Silence?
Oh, very high-octane game. All started to fall apart, though, for the LGD main squad. I'll be able to bring Alex in and the panel, tell you what you guys have to say about that first match here between the last 2 remaining Chinese sides in the tournament.
Yeah, so, and I mean, it's kind of crazy, isn't it, that we're sitting here, not only are the predictions favoring LFY, the series is, and this is the 4th seed. I mean, like, all the other 4th seeds went out with 0, nothing to show for it. What's different here?
It's Ben. What do you think? What is it about LGD.FY? I mean, I'm just the play-by-play. I'm not the analyst.
Sorry. That was funny.
It could be LGD.FY's group is much stronger than expected. They also had some much tougher opponents, whereas LGD, look at the opponents they had to face. And on top of that, these 2 teams know each other very well, so even though it is a 1 and a 4 seed, it might be like a much closer match in other games just because they're so familiar with each other. So that's my speculation.
There we go, Alex.
Thanks, Owen. Thanks. Appreciate that. We're back with you guys for the next game of the series. I do love you. We'll be back. And for now, we are going to be discussing this one. The LGD battling versus their sister team. And the analysts believe that Forever Young, albeit technically the team beneath LGD, the team that did come through the qualifiers. You're shaking your head.
I said LGD. I'm not going to cop out and claim that I actually meant LGD Forever Young. I wasn't going to say that.
We jumped ship. We wanted to join your team.
Well, no, you were like, oh, I don't know, but you guys didn't change your mind. So, I mean, what a weird ending to that game. I mean, we all thought this was going to go on for quite a long time. It looked like it was going to be like, oh, no, we want to fight back up, very cautious stuff, because that's what happens. You get jumped, you lose a fight in the wrong place, and the game is over. So it was. I thought it was close at points, but I thought the Nyx didn't quite have the impact that I was
Dude,
expecting.
Talk about jumping on enemy. He was
timid.
He was not doing his job at all in this game. Like he was just basically.
The nerves showed.
Yeah, I think he was very nervous. Somehow, like you kind of expect a player that qualified to or arrive in the Boston Major to be having a much better performance than that. But he's a new player, so maybe his nerves got to him.
So there was just clear evidence from your perspective of not only mistakes but poor decision making as well.
Or lack of decision. Like there was lack of moves. It wasn't like they were making bad decisions. It wasn't that they were making...
Lack of understanding of his role. I don't think that the team had problems like moving around as a unit, but it was just one piece of the puzzle that's not functioning. So it really didn't allow the relocate to shine. They had relocate, they had a lifestealer invested in the Knicks. They didn't really find many openings with that.
Yeah, there was just towards the end there was a moment when the Batrider was just on his own.
3 seconds.
Nix was right there, and we're waiting, and we're like, nothing. It was just kind of like that. I think that momentary hesitation or that doubt. Remember, of course, we were seeing everything.
Yeah.
They were lacking vision for a lot of that game, so maybe it was uncertainty. He's thinking, I don't want to make a mistake if I jump in here and I get killed, and the lifestealer gets killed, and people relocating, they get killed, and that was my call. Maybe it was the wrong one. So
fearing to make a mistake is actually in some ways worse than than making a mistake because you're not trying to do anything.
Waiting for a succinct winter wisdom there.
Sometimes making a mistake is better than the fear of making a mistake.
Fear of failure is a failure in itself. There you go. You can use that one.
Wow. That is why you join us for the Boston Major. Life lessons as well as some cool data. Yeah, sure. And you get to see fabulous pink shirts. All right, let's have a look at that scoreboard. Let's have a quick look, because it is, of course, Jixing, who we were focusing on. You can see his score doesn't necessarily reflect fantastic stuff. But if you look for the positives, 28 assists for one, 29 for the other. LGD.ForeverYoung, they took that close to 60 minutes, and it does show their score.
Yao just played brilliantly after the laning phase.
Yeah.
He had a very tough laning phase. Maybe he could have played better earlier, but his experience definitely showed after that. There was one play in the bottom lane. He had no dagger. He just ran into the enemy, with no dagger. He knew that his team wanted to start a fight, and he needed to give vision to his team. And he somehow didn't die. He got his sandstorm, and he got he was at 1 silver of health, and he got his Barrow Strike off, and they won the fight because of that. That's something you would see from a very experienced offlane player.
And I'm sure some credit is also hailed towards Xiao 8 as well. He's given the name director. I think it's worth recapping that. We do keep kind of referring to it.
He has a very good script.
Yeah, well, can you expand upon that? I'm sure there are viewers who are sitting there going, I don't understand. Why is Xiao 8 the director? What is this script you're referring to? What's the reputation he's garnered in China?
Well, traditionally, forums, right? the Chinese forums always talk about the players kind of as actors, where they're performing plays, and initially it was somewhat negative because they would often when they were throwing games or losing them,
they would call you an actor when you do something really bad.
You're an actor if you mess
because
up.
You're acting, you're not doing your job. You're acting. You're failing on purpose, so they call you an actor.
But the director kind of put more a positive twist on it, where it was basically his script as far as any of the games back when he used to captain LGD at TI2. They're one of the big powerhouses there. He always had this script where he basically
lose the lane, win the game.
Yeah, exactly. It always felt like they were losing the game, but they'd find a way to win, which was just that game. That game felt like, LGD took a lane of racks. You looked at the net worth, the SF's way on top. There's not much farm on. The Dragon Knight was getting his ass handed to him. He had 6k net worth to maybe's 11k net worth. It was not a good game for Super, but it didn't really matter. And still, it works out for ForeverYoung. Must be doing something right. Perhaps to show us what was going so right for ForeverYoung, Purge is standing by.
Hey guys, now that you spent about 5 minutes talking about why Nyx played bad, I want to start off with at least one great play that he started. This was at the Tier 2 bot push where LGD was pushing onto LGD.ForeverYoung. The important thing to focus on is Batrider here shooting out a Flame Break, and we also have a Nyx Assassin down here. If you want to be extra special, you can focus on the little spiked Carapace right here. So as soon as the damage is done by Batrider to him, he can pop spiked Carapace, which guarantees a stun on Xiao 8. He was supposed to actually jump away using his Blink Dagger, but as soon as he takes player-based damage, you can't do that anymore. So this is actually a huge mistake by Xiao 8 because it allowed LGD to actually initiate on them rather than Yao going in first. So right off the start of the bat, they don't even have a Flaming Lasso, a great disable that could possibly limit what maybe does damage-wise, but eventually the big moment is that Yao disengages, and DDC here was able to actually use the Earn Charge, which is going to keep Yao higher HP so that he can reinitiate multiple times. Super actually didn't have his ultimate just yet, so he was in a bad spot, but the amazing play there by the Sand King. Now his Burrow Strike is kind of a line, so he pretty much just lined him up and got a 5-man stun, an incredible move, which also allowed for an Omni Slash to blow up the IO. That was pretty much the only way they even got close to winning that fight, was that initial Burrow Strike. So follow-ups disabled from DDC here. A huge mistake actually by Yao here. Burrow striking in where he did guaranteed his death as well, because he jumped right on top of where Shadow Fiend was. We can take a look at that one more time here. Because when Shadow Fiend dies, big ulti comes out from his death. If the Burrow Strike would have just gone past, actually, if he just Burrow Striked to like here instead, he would have still been alive and possibly gotten more done. So quite a few accidental deaths coming out on LGD.ForeverYoung. Ultimately, didn't matter in the end. They eventually come back and win it, but man, they got the racks behind. The game got a whole lot harder because of it.
Thank you very much, Purge. Indeed, that is something that you were just talking about, Gods, that it did, for quite a long part of that, feel like LGD had control, and yet ForeverYoung did thrive in the end. It's getting late, excuse me.
I think a captain other than Zhao 8 on the Dire side would not have been able to turn that game around. Very few captains, at least, with the position they were in.
So it does just come down to that voice.
Yeah.
That
now you know why we were like, oh, they have the director. We're going to just side them, despite thinking...
The game was like, what, like 80-20 favored to LGD at one point, maybe at least 70-30 favored. Yeah, it was pretty handily won as far as the early to mid game went. Like, by no means was it in the back. Like, that's how DOTA works.
But I still think that LGD's lineup, they had a really solid lineup. They didn't play well.
Just a poorly executed game. Oh, no, not poorly executed, excuse me.
Just like one piece of the puzzle.
One piece. We'll keep coming back, and we'll return to the discussion with Jinxing in a while. But first, social media questions are always fun, and we've got a couple more extras for the panel here. It does look like it's going to be coming from Secretly Cool. And he says, does regional meta mean anything on this international stage? Regional meta. Now, this is something that, I mean, we haven't actually talked too much about. It doesn't feel like there is that many trends established outside of the
I feel like it's teams that bring a meta. I'm not so sure that things are like they used to be when you'd have one scene plays this way almost exclusively. I mean, you do see an element of that sometimes, but I think we know the teams better. Each team kind of favors certain things a bit more. So, I mean, we've seen a lot of the same heroes picked across regions. There are a few things that perhaps some regions favor more, but it's pretty similar to me, honestly.
I think it's a good point that it really is team metas. I think there's regional heroes.
Yeah.
There are certain heroes that regions play more than others. Like if you look at China, it's the Rubik, the Sand King perhaps. With the Western teams, it's like the Ogre Magi, a bit more of the Shadow Demon Lunas. But meta-wise, playstyle-wise, it's much more team-specific.
Is that thanks to the patch? I mean, I from what I hear, we have previously had more regional metas. Winter, it has existed in the past, but
a lot of people would tell you this is probably the best patch we've ever had in Dota 2. A lot of heroes are viable, a lot of playstyles viable.
And that's coming in from Secretly Cool.
It's also, just one more thing, it is also towards the end of the patch's lifetime. So a lot of the teams in different regions have had that time to cross-pollinate.
Cross-pollinate, solid word, I like that, indeed. And so we're kind of at that pinnacle now of 6.88.
Yeah.
Got another question coming in, and it was a good one there from Secretly Cool. He says, I'm not going to try and pronounce it, Aholivas. He says, how to best buff Windranger and Queen of Pain. We have seen a bit of Quap, not too much Windranger.
Yeah, she
didn't
look great.
That was one game Windranger.
We got Windranger? Okay.
Yeah, Wings lost that game against Warriors in the group stage.
Which hero is worse, would you say, is the question? I would almost say Quap's worse than Windranger.
I think Quap is worse.
Well, I mean, you can't ask Winter. He's actually, I think he physically hates Quap.
I've never seen him so angry. He was furious.
Seriously?
Yeah.
As soon as the camera cut, he just started throwing darts at like a picture of Quap.
Yeah. It was shocking stuff.
That was the MP game, right?
Yeah, you were not happy. So, I mean, hey, you have to answer his question. Well, how to best buff? I mean, we're not sitting here. None of these guys are Ice Frog, I can tell you that now. But
I've heard a lot of people saying that the travel time on her Stifling Dagger is her
armor,
Shadow Strike is too slow.
Give her more armor, like stats.
She's weak. She is weak. She used to be strong in lane. Like, she'd dagger you and run you down, and it was a nightmare. Something's changed. They need to fix her.
Okay.
Well, the mid lane used to be much like Bottles got nerfed. The runes used to have a higher impact. Now it's like all these supports are there. It's like 2v2 or like 4 heroes ganking you. I don't know. Mid lane's changed a lot.
No answers. Yeah.
The other heroes got buff, I think. The other heroes got stronger, but Queen of Pain stayed the same.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that when they were interviewed, who was it that picked it? Was it Team MP? They picked Quap.
Yeah, the Jack
and
Envy played it.
MSS was in the interview. Stacks asked him, why do you guys pick Queen of Pain? I don't know why we pick Queen of Pain.
I have no answer for you. Oh, our fan is sad about the previous draft, but hey, it's going to be coming up soon. We've got one more question before we can treat you to the next draft of the series, and this one's coming in from Sir Ironclad. This one's from Twitter.
I know this guy. Yeah, sure, why not?
It's a short answer. Do we need more bold heroes? Oh wait, I can't pronounce it, so you have to say it. You have to say the question.
Do we need more bold heroes?
I can't hear the difference
in Dota.
Bold and bold.
I'm trying to think of which bold heroes we've got. Obviously, I'm going to count IO.
What?
100%. Ogre, he's
Ogre's bold.
Alchemist with certain sets. If you take his hat off, he's bold.
What about Anti-Mona? Anti-Mage's got like a little...
Yeah, he's got hair.
Anti-Mage has hair, come on.
Yeah,
like he's got shaved head.
Bold.
Yeah, Earth Spirit, I'll give you that one.
Witch Doctor?
We don't know what clock looks like under there. Kunkka looks like he's kind of losing it on the top there. Pudge.
I mean, there's some like Tide, which are like...
Yeah, but he's a fish, dude. I wouldn't expect him to have hair. Anything hooded, you
a
could
hairy
say.
fish is quite disturbing.
Darkseer. Darkseer's bold. Faceless Void. Lich, of course. Let's Witch Doctor. Let's chuck a few more in there. A few more bold heroes.
Lich is a shamble of bones or whatnot. You're not supposed
there's
to
no
have
hair there, is there?
You're not supposed to have hair.
Yeah, but there's no hair there, is there? Hence, it's bold.
There's no hair there, is there? I like that. That rhymes. Right, our second game of the series. Back into game. LGD versus LGD.ForeverYoung. If you have just joined us and you're catching the tail end of our second day of playoffs here for the Boston Major, you have missed a treat.
Very happy with the Wind Ranger shirt. We were just talking about how that hero sucks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That was absolutely wonderful. One more game, and this is out of interest for a lot of people.
Could be two more games.
It could be two. Duke one more series.
Yeah.
But also, it is just a battle to represent China. Who will represent China in the Boston Major?
Director 8.
Director 8. Faith in Zhao 8. We can kind of recap exactly what it is that went so wrong for LGD. You said they had a lot of control. So, I mean, gods, I'm assuming you wouldn't expect too much of a change in their draft. I mean, you said that they were close 70-30 at one point.
Yeah, I think draft-wise it's fine. It's
comfortable.
Really the talk has to be like one of those motivational talks where you've got to get the players in the right mindset, try and give Jizing some more confidence in that offlane position, because if he just had a bit more fearlessness as far as just jumping in, going for some of those initiations, trusting in his team to back him up, it could have been a very different game.
Don't you think it's weird, though? Is Jixing one of his favorite heroes as Legion Commander? Is that right?
That's what
there's a hero that jumps in. You need your team. Yeah, I know, but don't you think it's weird that that's a hero he loves, and then Nick's Assassin, he's like hesitant? It's like... Similar kind of,
comfort zone though. Like
he has played a lot of Nyx too, though. Like in their games, it's one of his like top 3 most played heroes.
We were back at the lounge, and you know what Jack told me? That guy can only play Legion Commander.
And that's exaggerating a little.
That's Flame Winter. That's Winter Flame.
That's what Jack told me. I mean, Jack said that's his best.
So Jack was flaming.
So he specializes.
I mean, he knows the Chinese team very well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's what he's known for, and
we'll
see it back
again.
You
don't first ban Legion Commander, in a normal situation.
Yeah.
That says a lot about the player.
Also, don't first ban Enigma Earth in a normal situation. But
it's happening again.
What is that? Is this is the...
Same.
What's going on?
These are two teams that know each other on a very intricate level, and that's what this ban reflects. Right?
So they're going to chuck him in on the Knicks again. They're like, round 2, in you go, Sonny. You got it this time.
I mean, Knicks was a good pick the last game, but it wasn't the hero. It was something about the player. He needed to give the team needs to give him more confidence. You can do it. You can do it.
You can do it. That's good. I like that.
You need like some pep talk,
Yeah, because often you lose a game like that, and your first instinct as a player, like from your pubs, is like you want to blame the guy. But this is one of those scenarios. You're down 1-0. You really just gotta try and say, look, we're going to get him next time. Game number 2 is ours. It's like when the goalie in football completely fumbles like an easy goal goes in. You can't give him shit for it.
You can.
You got to pump him up.
Man City sold Joe Hart to Torino. They just got rid of him. That's what he did. Reported and sold. That's it. Look at this lad.
They're trying to wake him up.
Wake up!
Louder, Boston.
Ding, 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 ding.
It's not good enough.
We need the sound of an alarm clock.
Look at that.
Thought you were going somewhere else with that.
This is a perfect advertisement for the Dota hats. They actually have soundproofing built in. You can't hear anything when you put them over your ears.
That is not true. We are legally obliged to inform you that is not the case.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were talking about eye bleach earlier, and we had to specify as well.
Do not put bleach in your eyes. Do not put bleach in your eyes.
Thank you very much. That's why we're here. That's why you're here, Ted.
That's literally the only reason, dude. Let's be honest.
He's here for the warnings. It's actually from the Health and Safety Board.
Yeah, that's what they didn't tell you guys.
The other side of your ad finum card is just your health and safety
Government
inspector.
mandated. You need me on the panel just for safety's sake. Health and safety officer.
I mean, if you're not safe, we won't be here. So
that's
it's very important.
I am feeling safe. Always safe when I'm near you, Winter. You keep me safe.
I reckon we've been debated here. This guy ain't asleep.
Yeah, it's all an act.
What happened earlier when the guy got the person next to him to pretend to be asleep so that he could ask Shiva out?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
We got debated.
Weaver. Great pick against Lifesteal. It's like a...
Look at this guy. Down in front.
We are seeing this draft go incredibly quickly.
You gotta love that guy.
I wish my body swayed like that.
You don't know until you try. God,
that's true.
I haven't seen you try. Maybe after. Maybe
yeah,
after
go
the
on, crack on.
Yeah, I was sitting there like 5 seconds. He's not going to do it. No, okay, we'll give up. But I mean, when you look at how quickly this draft is going, you do feel like there was a quick discussion, and already they had a good game plan. LGD are going back to what they know, right? The Magi, the Nyx, the Weaver. In fact, hang on, I need to refresh my memory.
Yeah, as far as the first couple picks go, the difference this game was the second pick for ForeverYoung was not the silencer.
Right.
I think they wanted to just secure the lifesteal, deciding that could be a key hero for them as far as partnering up with the Bat Rider, and also it's very good matchup against the Nyx Assassin in lane and at a lot of stages of the game.
Nyx hates to lane against Lifesteal in the first few minutes. It's so difficult for him.
And once you get zoned, then the supports can leave Lifesteal a 1v1 because he can just crush Nyx once he has his phase boots. So
he's gonna need a lot of help from the Ogre though, but I'm not sure how much it would make a difference because Ogre can't really zone and pressure with the Ignite against Lifesteal because you can always rage you off.
I think Ogre's going to help him. Maybe he's in that mid lane like Ogre, come throw Ignite at mid, come Bloodlust me. He's not letting his Ogre go up top.
You guys were talking about running Nyx mid. Is that something that they could do?
Yeah, they did it before in the past. I've seen them do it, but I'm not a fan of putting maybe on that kind of hero.
But where are you going to put Oracle?
Oracle
so
will be
apparently, guys, I'm sorry to interrupt. Apparently, the producer has something to wake him up with. I'm not sure what we're going for here. Let's see if we can. Let's see if we can get this guy ready for the LGD game.
It's a tiny bell.
It's a little bell. No, he's not having any of it.
Whose face is that?
Debated. He's still not awake. This is some deep sleep.
That delicate little bell sound wouldn't wake anybody up. Yeah, you tried. Well done, Vlad. You tried.
I thought you had something special. I thought you had like a big explosion or something.
It's like the tiniest little bell sound.
We don't want to kill the audience, apparently. All right. Well, we should recap the draft because
that game wasn't that boring. That was no DKIG where we had like 90 minutes of no kills.
Fantastic.
Okay, here we go. Heavy guns. Oh. Genius.
I wish they could hear how good he is.
Here we go.
They're bringing the heavy guns. What on earth are they doing? What do you got for us, PGL? PGL, what have you got for us?
Nothing. Okay, well, this was good.
We're building suspense, Ted.
No.
Suspense is building.
Oh, wrong card.
Oh, he's not sure who he's supporting.
Okay.
Well, this has been
fun. So, yeah, pick-wise, LGD ForeverYoung.
Oh, we have
Oh!
Is it a pie? Oh,
it's pizza.
Now this is one way to wake up a man.
I would be scared for my life.
He's trying to give him the smell of pizza.
He's back, the Windrunner man. Yo, is he actually, like, this is getting dangerous now. Is he alive? Is he breathing?
Can you check his pulse? Slacks?
He's alive! Oh my God. Good morning. Hello. Welcome to the Boston Major. That is a 1 in a million selfie, and that is beautiful. The Dota community is enjoyable. Back to work, says the producer, and we shall do just that.
Jeez. Fun times with Vlad here. Well played. Slot up. Picked up there.
Yeah, we're seeing more.
Slaughter, DK, and Lifestealer.
So we're seeing more of this support Bat Rider. The full position we saw early with Newbie. We saw game 1, of course, with Zhao 8.
The last game was a better example of I got a better understanding why they actually ran the Bat Rider support. I could see what he could do.
Okay, what was that? What did you see?
You can pressure the lanes and you have great way of catching up, and stacking for your team. So LGD finishes their job at the Timber Saw.
Yeah.
Good lane, very, very good lane against the DK.
3 strength heroes.
High armor hero as well. At least a lot of your itemization, you get the reactive armor against what's a very physical damage-based draft with Slaughter, Lifestealer.
Yep. Still a very similar game plan with Game 1, where both our teams have very distinct strats, very different. One goes for more speed push, more farming. The other team wants to go for more 5-man.
All right. Will this be the final game, or will we find a third to end on a crescendo? It's a battle to see who will represent China in the quarterfinals, the last chance for LGD and for LGD.ForeverYoung. To guide you through this and to answer the question of whether we'll see a third, it is a casting pair like no other, Malini and OD Pixel.
Thank you very much, Alex. Indeed, getting ready for this final, final series at least. It could be the final game, of course, if Xiaowei and the boys are able to pull it through again. Talking about Xiaowei on that Battle Rider once more, Ben. Over on the side of LGD, switching it up a little bit. Ame on the Weaver in that safe lane position. We don't see everyone do that nowadays. Are you liking it here against LFY's draft?
It's definitely tough versus a Disruptor, but it provides a great matchup against a Bat Rider, which was a huge issue in the last game. They have the Oracle this time. I would say much better defensive support against the Wiz, and no Silencer on the opposite side. So the supports can actually get spells.
Absolutely, yeah. The Silencer, a huge nuisance for LGD in Game 1. And I'm excited to see Victorian Oracle, as I mentioned in Game 1, in fact, as well. We've seen him on it before in the group stages, and he is absolutely fantastic when he's able to get those saves off. And as you mentioned, Silencer out the way. Potential is certainly going to be there. But Ame on the carry Weaver. Everything that LGD is hoping on. And maybe, again, another call we've got to talk about. He didn't win the game, of course, Game 1, but he had a fantastic performance on the Shadow Fiend. Kept himself relevant, top of the net worth. He's on the Timbersaw. And this is another one of those heroes that maybe can be an absolute playmaker on Carney.
Yes, in this game, I think he also has a better matchup in that he's not going to get focused down by everything because it's just hard to burst him down. With 20 stacks of reactive and then throw on a Fate's Edict onto him, he is going to be very difficult to kill. So I think it's a much better game for him to succeed on. He did what he could in the last game. He got that early kill on the DK. He got a lot of farm, but at the end of the day, they just casted all the spells on him, and his teammates could not react.
LFY just securing the rune down towards the bottom. Looks like Jijing will be able to claim it for himself up on top on the next assassin. Ame coming in for a bit of harassment and is not going to be able to get off the steal there. Did try and take it away from Super. Super able to secure it. Get that opening here in the mid lane. And that mid lane indeed as well, as you said, straight up matchup. Should be okay here for the Timbersaw. Xiaowei again, I guess we can expect him to weave in and out, but yeah.
This ward it looks like it's under division. He might be waiting for her to eat it sometimes. Like sometimes you want to wait and then you eat it with a Tango and then you get mass regen.
It looks like he'll just hit 100 at least. Just waiting until the lane starts to clash it. And it's going to be Xe and Jijing putting the pressure on the Lifestealer. And the mid lane, again, Xiaowei doing the repeat performance of what he did in Game 1 just at the start. Coming to the mid lane, keeping these stacks up and making sure that maybe has to really think about getting close to this lane in the middle.
But this time they have an observer ward. Look at Xiaowei. He is headed towards that large stack, and they will be able to scout him out. So last game he got level 2 after he got the stack. Is he going to be able to get the stack off? It is a ranged troll camp, and the answer is no. No stack for him. Trolls make it much more difficult.
I mean, obviously, in terms of these stacks as well, as you said, LGD have got the vision out. Once the stacks start to be made, is there any way or any heroes that they can send over there to take the stacks and contest them against Xiaowei?
Yeah, Timbersaw, I think Weaver's like, he's okay at least contesting the stack. Maybe he can't kill it, but maybe is definitely the hero that can kill it. It just depends on how early the Bat Rider wants to take it out. You need at least level 2. If he's level 2, it's not like the Timbers can really rotate that early, but if Timber's level 6, might be a different story, especially if the supports are close. And there are a lot of stacks up on maybe in the mid lane. He has 7
stacks. With that Dragon Tail set up for Super, they may just be able to do it here. He's got one more Tango to go for, but it's not going to save him. And Xiaowei, pretty much man of the match in Game 1 with his shot calling, his playmaking, and this role that he plays on the Bat Rider, which we just haven't really seen anyone else do. We saw it attempted earlier by Kaka, but not to this level. And it already looks to start out to be even better for Xiaowei in the beginnings of this game too than it was in Game 1. And Game 1 in itself was fantastic in its own right.
And that kill was caused by Super getting the stun at level 2. Very unusual pickup for a Dragon Knight. But if you get to a kill, especially First Blood, and especially in a tough matchup like that, it's worth it. Top lane, XZ.
Xiaowei's there. He'll be flying over Xe as well as Jijing, and Xe falling down low. 2 stacks on him, and Xiaowei is enabled another kill already for the team. LFY picking up 2 kills. Xiao8 getting involved across the map.
And now, like, you have an Observer Ward on top, but there's no stacks there. And Batrider's, like, hasn't even been there. He's just wreaking havoc in the mid and the top lane. And now Super is way ahead in CS, or just 4 CS, I suppose. But
That's got a large wave coming in. Yeah.
It's way ahead considering that DK is supposed to lose this lane pretty hard. I've seen DKs get solo killed in this lane.
Xiao8 attempt 2 here with the stack. We'll see if he's a little bit more fortunate this time. And yeah, he's got the pull timing this one round. So he'll start to get these stacks up, ready to continue that farm and his relevance in this game. As Xe will head over and will block up that camp, but Xiao8 still in the neighborhood. We'll see if he actually spots him out. Doesn't look like he will. Xe just keeping himself the other side of the tree line. So Xe will be able to block that camp undiscovered. So Xiao8, he will be slowed down a little bit by this.
I think he suspects that he's around, though. And he was trying to move about, see if anything funny was happening. But looks like he's just going to get, what, 4 stacks, I think, is generally 3-4 stacks before you start actually fireflying it down. And looks like Ogre will share the majority of the experience from this camp.
That's nice for Xe. We'll get him up to that level 2 at least. So Xiao8 will be slowed down by XP. It's being pinged out, so it looks like they're aware of something fishy going on. Potentially just checking out the XP that Xiao8's getting, realizing he's not getting the full mass of it all.
There's still 1 Ogre left, but I don't think that's known to the Ogre, whose Observer Ward isn't quite to the left enough to actually spot out that Ogre, but it will block off any potential stacks.
Mid lane, as expected, once Xiao8's left the lane, maybe has been able to get a lead against Super, 23 against the 18. So we'll see if Xiao8 does head back over and allow Super to kind of get a bit more space again to get back ahead of this Timbersaw matchup.
There's a haste rune bottled up for Super if they want to go for the stun. And he pops the haste, but maybe he's already back on his own hill. And now they catch a whiff of Xiao8 again. And don't have to worry about too many ganks from him yet. They know he's just going to be stacking.
I think Xiao8, realizing with the fishy business that was kind of going on in the jungle, is just kind of straight up clearing up the camps now, rather than looking to stack them any further, just making sure that he finds these early levels so he can continue to rotate into lanes and feel kind of the effects that he can offer to this mid lane matchup with Super. And focus down again. It's actually the top lane, though, where we're going to watch Jijing. He's going to look towards my end, and Jijing, know that he can fight around this until the Carapace comes through, and indeed holds back in for the time being, but End's got the phase boots. And okay, neutral creeps doing it there for LGD. They will deny LFY that kill.
Sniper Satyr.
A nice little touch there for LGD, but they do need it as at the moment. Kills they're lagging behind. Farm in the lane. Overall, I mean, Jixing's getting a fair bit out of this offlane. 21 CS at the moment.
And Xiao8 got the D ward on that Observer Ward, knowing that his camp was blocked. He's like, I got that stack.
I think he got 2 actually with that as well. They had 2 obses down there.
I think the
one of them times out.
I'm not sure if he got both of them. I was watching the one that was blocking. And maybe in mid lane gets doped by Xiao8.
TP's will be coming across. It's going to be Victoria here, looking for a bit of a save. Trying to help maybe out here, looking for the news onto Super, but Super's actually going to end up getting regened up by this. Xiao8 trying to dive forward, but the Fate's Edict and the Purifying Flames keeping maybe alive. So LFY won't be successful with that sort of a dive when there's an Oracle in the neighborhood. Bottom lane, Arme and Xe putting on the pressure, and they're pretty much on the verge of taking their first tier 1 here. As it looks like LFY unable to do anything to stop this one. Yeah,
there's a haste. Xiao8 he's sitting right by it, waiting for an opportunity to pick it up.
And they are moving in, LGD. Again, it's slippery heroes to go for. Arme especially.
He's still sitting there, but there is a Radiant Observer Ward a little bit to the right that would cut off his angle of approach, but I don't know if they have enough time to react. And of course, the Slaughter can stop a TP if they TP preemptively. He grabs a haste, he walks over mid. Victoria will be sighted first.
With the target indeed, and immediately with the Firefly starting to run over this Oracle. Maybe he's going to head over as well. Super's trying to get himself in the neighborhood. Backup is inbound for LGD as TP's come through, and that will hold Xiao8 back. Xiao8 up by the initial Carapace, trying to get himself over the tree line, but maybe jumps across Timber Chain and the Chakra, bringing him down low, giving the vision for the Purifying Flames. And LGD punishing that play there from Xiao 8. It's apparent that he wasn't going to get the kill, but at the least causing attention from LGD to come out from that mid lane, but it doesn't end up paying off, giving away his life there.
The 2 haste runes in these 2 games both yield LGD a kill when LFY are the ones that pick it up. And this time the Oracle purged it off immediately, and Xiao 8 was like, I'm not in a great position right now. And thought he was safe flying over trees, but Timbersaw also utilizes trees and cliffs quite well.
Absolutely. And as this mid continues, we're starting to see the net worth differences come in. And it's about a 700 or so lead here for maybe in this matchup. And that's kind of where the overall net worth difference between the 2 teams is coming through. Just the slight offset in this mid lane. Elsewhere, both cores and supports getting relative farm to each other. I'm looking towards the top lane again. Xiao will be able to make sure that maybe doesn't get his hands on it. Super able to refill his bottom. The Arcane Rune down towards the bottom. Looks like Xiao will simply take that up on the Slardar. He himself not yet looking for any sort of rotation. Sometimes we see Slardar's go for it. Jijing, I'm sorry, it's him that picks up the Arcane. He actually, yeah, pops the Vendetta as well. So he's going to make sure he's got another use of the Vendetta underneath the cover of that Arcane Rune.
And there is a D-Ward battle in the middle. Looks like LGD.ForeverYoung will win that one. So how does Nyx Assassin deal with this? He doesn't have that much time left on his Vendetta. He's actually shown out right now. I guess he will get another cast of Vendetta before the Arcane Rune expires. And they will smoke around, wanting to bypass that sentry in the mid lane.
This could be good as well. Just outside of range of that Obs Ward. So LGD have the potential to find a jump with this one. Jijing will be able to lead the way with Vendetta. And at the moment, it looks like they do have their eyes on Yao on this bottom lane on the Slardar.
Ooh, does not go for that range creep. That's exactly what LGD were waiting for. I'm pretty sure he would have just stunned out an Invis with the position that he was at. But LFY are playing very tight and close as Xiao 8 and Super use a smoke of their own. They do have a sentry ward that Xiao 8 had placed earlier, waiting for the Nyx to pop it. And now that it hasn't popped yet and no one's died on top lane, they all run a bottom.
Here we go, the smoke dispelled. Xiao 8 knows something's up, drops down the sentry and allow the vision here for the Dragon Tail. But looks like Nyx is just outside of range of the sentry, so Jijing will be able to head back, but he goes back under range. Yao able to lay down the Amplify. Jijing getting caught out. The rest of LGD have already backed off. So LFY reading the situation, dropping down the sentry, and getting themselves that kill.
And they're so good at dealing with the Nyx. Like sentry wards immediately as soon as he hits 6, and then everyone's playing close to their towers, and then the smoke, so they can reveal almost with certainty where he is with the sentry ward.
Maybe potentially helping something good here. LFY Super heading across, and they do have backup as well. They're going to look to try and lean in with the Dragon Tail, stealing the Invis Rune, maybe. Simply going up to the high ground, but the Kinetic Field and the Static Storm drop down by DDC. The backup will be there for Victoria, but he's yet to hit level 6. No false promise, but it looks like it's not needed. Maybe able to turn around with the Chakram onto Yao, coming in with a 2-man crush, but LGD there fine, and it's going to be Slardar losing his life. LFY paying the price here, and LGD are moving forward for more. They've got eyes onto Xiao 8. The stun for Jijing isn't going to connect, but Arme continues to chase down with the Shukuchi. They'll hold him in place there as Victoria's there with the backup. LGD able to equalize the scoreboard, get a couple of kills back their way.
And you're beginning to see how tanky Timbersaw is, even with like all these stuns and a kinetic field and a static storm dropped right on top of him. He didn't die, and a lot of it was due to Victoria just being ready with his Oracle sitting behind him. And there wasn't enough levels on the kinetic field to actually keep him locked into the static storm. That also hurt LFY a lot. And Super, he did get the Invis Rune, now just kind of maybe looking for an easy kill, but Timbersaw has 20 stacks of reactive. That is, it's not really the target that you can kill right now.
Absolutely not. And Super is having to hang back and allow LGD to get a bit of damage done to this tier 1 in the mid lane. DDC is still around as well, but the two of them,
yeah, he just wants to keep his
lacking the damage really.
He's just constantly taking it. I don't even know if he's losing HP at this point.
And he's got, if he is, you know, Victoria's there with the backup behind and a false promise at the ready. So very little that LFY can do with these two heroes to stop maybe just getting away with what everyone wants in this mid lane at the moment.
Yeah, looked like he was gaining HP with just the tower attacking. It was pretty close. And Xiao 8 ready to wrap around from the top side. He does have Lasso available, but no Firefly for 8.
I'm going to try for it, but Victoria's there, and as I said, the false promise is always going to be available. They do have to lock down with the Lasso to drag him back. Maybe he could play his way out of this, though. No damage is pretty much taken off that false promise because of the regen that he has. They just can't bring him down, and now LGD, they brought over the backup. Super will hold back Jijing with the Dragon Tail, maybe Timber chaining across, looking for blood, focusing down on Zhao with this full-on chakram, pulls it back in, takes down the Batrider, and maybe surviving for it all. And as we're seeing, LFY, they just don't have the tools to bring down this Timbersaw at this stage of the game, and maybe he's not done. He's going to be back in with the Chakram. Jijing will get taken down by the Crush. Amplify from Yao. LGD now on the retreat. They've lost 1 for 1. He glimpses back onto Armane. In fact, Armane's out of mana, crushed up, and they've lost the Weaver. That was not what LGD wanted to happen off the back of that one.
They just stayed so long, and none of their heroes had mana left at that point. Like, Timbersaw was out of mana, couldn't really go in.
We're certainly seeing LFY struggle to kill, maybe, but as you said, if the rest of LGD's teammates hang around, they'll certainly be easier targets here.
It's really tough for the Knicks, too. He's, like, constantly just caught out. He was caught in a kinetic field at the start, and later on he was just caught out by the stun. He was set in Firefly for a bit, and he was at, like, 30% HP. He's like, I want to get my Vendetta damage off, but I also, like, don't want to die. And he was kind of caught in that position of whether or not he should go in.
Maybe just once again, back in, a couple of punches onto the tier 1. It's causing a lot of the attention of LFY. They've got Super here, backed up by Yao and TDC. Maybe they try again with a bit of a glimpse into a crush of sorts, but Victoria's there to purge off the Amplifier. Will still get glimpsed back in again with the Static Stun. They're going to try and go for round 2, but again, Victoria's there with a false promise. They're going to follow through Lasso, holding him in place, but again, have they actually got the damage to bring him down? They do punish it by killing off the Oracle, but they aren't killing this Timbersaw. Again, another kinetic field. They have Amplify on him, but a full Chakram and a good stun for Jijing holding, and in the midst of it brings him incredibly low. He'll be able to rage and arm the toggle his way out of it all. Maybe again being this bad. They want to kill this Timbersaw so damn bad. With the Amplify, they may just be able to do it. No, he's still alive. Surely he dies here. He will finally fall. But it takes so much effort there from LFY, but it is a big kill to finally get.
It was very smart how LFY.
They're getting more by the looks of it as well, with these glimpse plays from DDC, bringing in XZ as well.
That's the Batrider from Batrider Blink. So the way they started off that fight was they knew that the same thing was going to happen. Okay, they'll pull Timbersaw closer to the tower, but Oracle false promises, and because of Oracle false promises, he's in vision. And Lifestealer just ran straight past the Timbersaw and ran straight at the Oracle, and Oracle died. And after that, Timbersaw is going to fall shortly thereafter, or maybe at some point thereafter, with the Oracle dead.
8 for 4, LFY overall farm. Still looking good for Arme during that whole kind of fight in the mid lane. He was eyeing up the top tier 1, was able to clear it down.
Yeah, I think he needs more farm. Like, looking at his items, he doesn't have his Lincolns yet, and nor does he have boots. And I suppose he's going for Maelstrom or Tread. Not too sure with the Guns of Haste. But regardless, he needs his Lincolns first. Blocks Glimpse, Lasso, Dragon Knight Stun, Amp, I would say, like, all very good spells.
They're going for this play again. Using maybe trying to bait LFY in for a bit of a jump. LGD already looking for the wraparound, but there's a sentry down. They've got the eyes onto Jijing. They have to use the false promise to keep the Nyx Assassin alive. Static Storm as well, clipping both of them. They've taken down Victoria. They'll turn towards Jijing as well. He'll die post false promise. They may have got the tower, but they've lost 2 heroes, and they may even lose more. Yao unable to hit the crush, though. The glimpse already used. The rest of LGD will be able to retreat. 15.5 minutes in, 10-4.
LFY is just always one step ahead. They were expecting that. They already had a sentry ward, I would say, placed from like 3 minutes ago, sitting behind the tower, and not expecting the blink on the Batrider, and he had him immediately lasso. And Oracle's position was immediately compromised.
Proving to be a very, very tricky game once again for Victoria. False promises having to be used before lasso and such. So there isn't that initial save to bring them out of it all.
Yeah, he was just locked in by Kinetic Field. And the Nyx Assassin, too, is, again, having a rough game. And he doesn't have as much farm as last game, too. So he has to make... I guess it's slightly easier in last game because of no silencer, but he still had to deal with the Batrider. Normally, you think of Nyx Assassin countering the Batrider, but in this game and the last, Batrider's been countering the Nyx just by grabbing him immediately.
He does have Lincolns, absolutely crucial against this lineup, but at the same time, LFY have a lot of ways of popping it. So you will have to be careful. Certainly still feels like the Weaver will be waiting on the next item of sorts before really turning up to all of these fights. And as we can see at the moment, Ame being paired up against this Lifestealer, as End's been showing us, and he's having some fantastic results so far in this game.
I was like, that doesn't look like End, because he's hiding inside.
Here we have it. There we have, as you mentioned, inside Xiao 8. And eyes towards the bottom lane. It is just XE, but he's out on his own, and they'll take a free kill. LFY make short work of the Ogre. Not a lot that XE could do. Just hoping to come out to the lane for some levels and farm.
But they don't blow a lasso. Like, so you're like, oh yeah, they blew a smoke for it. But with no lasso and a free T1, I think an Ogre kill is definitely worth it. Normally you're like, it's just an Ogre. We wasted our smoke for that. Not really worth it this time. It's a little bit different.
Maybe he has that Bloodstone done now, so if he's able to kind of show us a bit of the flashy performance that he had in the earlier fights in the mid lane, he could start to swing the momentum back in favor of LGD. And at the moment, definitely LFY with the lead. Maybe actually just watch it straight in. There will be TPs across, and they're going to start to force LFY back, focusing Super down first, and coming in on the front lines. And Victoria has to false promise himself to keep himself alive. Yao coming in with a 4-man crush. There's no follow-up at the moment, though, from LFY. And now Yao in a bit of a tricky position himself, maybe. Jumping across with the Timber Train, looking to finish off Yao. He's getting himself away there with the crush and the run. Held in position by Victoria. One more chakram should do it, so maybe straight after picking up the Bloodstone, able to get himself a charge in the bank. Jijing, he's actually looking for more here. Coming around the back lines, eyes onto Xiao 8 and onto Super. On the low ground, maybe. See if he can get a jump across. And he's going to look towards End, starting to chomp down. Not popping the rage yet. So good chance for Jijing to come immediately out of the invis with the stun. But End, he doesn't quite die. He gets the rage and the on and off. Xiao 8 is there with the back of the lasso onto maybe. And the Lifestealer surviving for the time being as he jumps into the bat. I mean, Xiao 8, he's had a remarkable game 1, and here in game 2, he's there to save his teammates and get them out of the trickiest of situations.
Just always there with his team, as you mentioned, and they were so close to killing Lifestealer, but you can tell it's a little bit in Jixing's head too. He's like, I don't think, or actually, it's more so the good play of LFY. They're like always ready with their instant cast. Like he has to lead him with the impale, because if he waits for the Vendetta into the impale, he's going to be able to rage it off. And same with the last game. They had Spin, they had Manta, they had BKBs, and it's extremely difficult for him to actually get the jump. But they tried. They almost killed the Lifestealer before he could rage.
Almost, but indeed at this stage of the game, almost is not good enough, especially when you're a game away from being eliminated here at the Boston Major. LGD in this game too that they desperately need the win of. 5-11 at the moment. They're behind in kills. Farm-wise, again, it's a similar story to what we saw in game 1, really. Both Ame and Maybe in a very good position when it comes to net worth. Ever since that kind of failed fight mid, Ame's been avoiding it, getting the farm up on this Weaver. And he's put himself in a very comfortable position.
They're scared of Roche. They know they have a Slaughter in the game. They used scan about 5-10 seconds before, right outside the Roshan pit, to see if they had entered. But LFY are just all standing outside the pit. So let's see how LGD approach this. Looks like one hero will go in, see if the smoke pops, and Ames has not popped yet. So now they know that they're probably waiting for each other, and it's a game of chicken right now.
There it is, and this is going to be the reveal of Yao's Blink Dagger on the Slaughter.
I think he had it last fight.
Did he?
I think so. Anyways.
Oh yeah, he did, Ben. It's getting late. LGD. Looks like they aren't going to find anything indeed, but that smoke. LFY is still in a potential position to make a jump themselves. DDC, even though we're getting a bit of vision, Super pops the Dragonform, turns towards maybe. Jijing still under the cover of Vendetta. We could look for some kind of a counterplay. They're trying to find DDC on the sidelines, but he gets the static shot down onto the Weaver. Victoria's there with a backup, keeping the Weaver alive with the false promise. Maybe chops down through the midst of them all, and he's found the kill on to Disrupt to the first casualty on LFY. Maybe Timber chaining away, and it looks like it will just end up as of that, but these sort of little fights where maybe is able to pick up an extra Bloodstone charge, and the team loses nothing. I mean, LGD will be fine with that.
Ame tried to TP back to get healed up, and then he time-lapsed thinking that it would bring him back to the fight, but he just time-lapsed back to the fountain.
Ooh. He's trying to play it off cool, though. He's like, I want his head to the top lane anyway to pick up the farm.
Yeah, he needed a TP back because he was under effects of False Promise, and I think that little bit of fountain regen carried him over to survive. I like this positioning, that fight, and LFY were ready for that. He jumps in with the Slaughter, but Victoria was even more ready with the immediate False Promise.
And off the back of that fight, It's, I mean, it really is the question of what the next bit of play is going to be for LGD, because they, as we saw before, with that smoke, they knew that Roshan was going to be on the menu very shortly for LFY, and now it's come up. They're into the pit, LFY. LGD are in the neighborhood. Ame trying to make his way over. Still a bit of a distance to go.
They actually
LGD
don't
want
have
to contest.
sentries. There's no sentries like immediately outside the pit, which is where Nyx is at right now. And he has to go a little bit to the north side in order to get
on the side.
Out. Yeah, he doesn't have BKB this time. And he could probably go for a Vendetta hit, but now, they smoked, I believe, right under the Observer Ward, and now they will stand over.
Coming through.
Do you want to stand on the north side, though? They do have an Observer Ward over there, as well as a Sentry Ward. I'm not sure if that's worth the positioning. And these... okay, maybe he's out in front. He pops the smoke.
Immediate jump into Static Storm will catch out Jijing. They'll jump in, burst down the Victoria Oracle, and that's the big kill to the fight of the start. Victoria's been saving a lot of heroes in these fights. This time he's not going to get the chance to. They've lost 2. Jijing's going to buy back, but maybe as well to fall. LFY finding 3 kills out of this one, and maybe even more. Jijing trying to get himself back in with the stone to hold back LFY's onslaught, but the jump in from Yao is a 3-man crush. XE, he's going to fall, and there's going to be a dieback for Jijing. LFY absolutely doing it here. They'll go for the TP out. Xiao 8 makes it away as well.
Man, Yao has been performing. Like, he always identifies the best targets. Last game, he was all on top of the whisk. This game, he just bypasses maybe. I was like, we can't kill him. And he just went for the back line. Stunned the Oracle out.
And this match, of course, deciding who the final Chinese team will be here at the Boston Major. And LFY certainly proving how they deserve this position with these sort of performances. And LGD still need to step it up in terms of team play. As we mentioned, individual performance for their 2 cores is looking good. Maybe an Ame in great positions, but has just overall execution and the way that they pull together in these team fights, it always seems to be a step behind that of LFY's.
Mm-hmm. If it's not Xiao 8 getting the great initiation, it's Yao. And these 2 guys are buddies, and they're well equally matched in their initiation skills. And maybe he's trying to stand out in front, but like, how do they actually protect their backline? It's all about the team fights in between these 2 teams. They just keep on fighting and fighting and fighting. And like, even though LGD lost that fight, they didn't concede Roshan. So now they're headed back to this area. How do they want to approach the fight? They need Ame, I think, to sweep around the side, and then Victoria to sit behind him in case they jump him. And if not, then he can pick out the Disruptor. And Batrider doesn't have a Force Staff, so he can't actually jump the Weaver in the next engagement. So it's, I think, a lot up to the Weaver and a lot up to the Nyx Assassin in order to keep these heroes stun locked. And this is before BKBs, mind you, or at least all the prior fights. Now, Super first BKB of the game.
We'll see how he's able to fight with it, as well as they do have eyes around this LGD. Leading over. And LFY certainly in position to jump.
Yeah, they definitely saw this. BKB popped out. Look at Super, bright in yellow, right next to the T2 tower. Yep, that's one that you can't really hide. Normally you're like in the fog when this happens, but when you're right next to creeps, they definitely know what's up.
LGD.
So that, I mean,
they're just going to push in on this. Yeah, they know the Super.
Yeah, you have a 4,000 gold lead on LFY, but you don't have your BKB, so that's kind of there goes that lead.
LFY still may be willing to try and make a fight happen though. Xiao can get a good jump in. They're so complete.
Look at Yao. Yao's coming in from the left side on the secret shop. He's trying to flank them.
He's actually kind of getting cold feet. He's back off. Super's going to be the one to lead in. Dragon Tail onto the Timber Saw. It's the hardest target to go on. Yao has End inside him. But again, not wanting to jump in on this one. The bugs from Ame holding back the initiation.
LGD don't have sentries. Like they're just going to get jumped with no vision.
Jijing dragged straight back into the Static Storm, and that'll be one freebie here for the side of LFY.
Yeah, look at that. They have 2 sentries and 1 Observer Ward. LGD were sitting under LFY's Observer Wards. You cannot let that happen when you're trying to push this tower or fight around the Roche Pit. Now LFY looks like they're just going to head into Roshan perhaps. Timbersaw, I guess, can keep them at bay. It looks like he is going for a Lotus Orb to dispel that Amplify. And Open Wounds. Both pretty good. And maybe Reflect the Lasso if he's lucky.
I'll be interested to see how much confidence they show in terms of trying to take that Roche, knowing that there's a member down. But as you said, LFY still respecting the potential that LGD have with this 4-member lineup. And now, Jijing back on the board and ready to join it with his fellow teammates to continue to try and maintain control around this area. But as you said, in terms of warding, it's just not quite been there for LGD around this Roche Pit, as LFY They've been absolutely on top with the D-wards.
Yeah, I don't even think have any sentries in their inventory. So, like, the Nyx hasn't been having a good time, but also, like, his supports haven't been laying a foundation of wards in order to make him feel comfortable running in. They only have the one sentry ward, and it doesn't even cover that observer ward that LFY have, and it doesn't cover the immediate entrance inside the pit. So Nyx Assassin just can't walk in, nor does he have Blink Dagger. I'm not really sure what he's going for with this ring of regen that he has. Maybe Force Staff, not sure. But here we go. Smoke. Yao has someone inside of him. And Dire has used skin. It hits red.
Bullseye indeed from the scan. LFY pretty much a perfect wraparound potential here. LGD are pushing forward with a full 5-man. If they can get the jump on Victoria or such, it's going to be so hard for LGD to turn this one around. The lead in here from Zhao, Super. Maybe he's going to jump back first. Spike Carapace will come back out, but the Static Storm's there, trapping the Nyx Assassin. N will take him down. They found Victoria as well on the back lines. The two heroes that are crucial for LFY to find at the start of this fight. Xy's going to be the third to be focused down. The Crush holding maybe in place. He load absorbs himself. It isn't going to save him from the right clicks of N, as maybe falling down low, burned down by the fire of the Dragon. Super able to pick up the fourth there. And again, it's just this shot calling, this playmaking from LFY, which is making them seem like they're on another level today, Ben.
Yeah, it's just way better than LGD's at the moment. Like, DK got a stun on the Nyx Assassin, and then in the back line, you have the Slardar. Just jump the Oracle. Their priority selection isn't who they see first. They see someone, and then they're like, okay, I know that supports are positioned, you know, X units behind them because they don't have Aether Lens and they don't have a Blink Dagger, so they have to be standing close, or else we'll just kill them. So they're always one step ahead of LGD. They know exactly where the Oracle is going to be in the fight, and how do you really counter that? You counter that with perhaps pretty strong wards. So look at the Nyx Assassin. Yeah, Nyx Assassin's done. Top side, Oracle's already dead.
I mean, it's Zhao. He was straight in with the lasso onto Victoria, making sure no sort of false promise or sort comes out. And they take down the weaker heroes first. You know, suddenly all the backliners are gone, and then they're able to focus down onto maybe. And there's just no way that he can play his way out of this one.
You can tell their game plan. Like, he probably just told them, kill the Oracle. Whatever you do, kill the Oracle. And you can, it's just like the Timber Cell doesn't even exist until, you know, 20 seconds into the fight, or 10 seconds into the fight, after the Oracle and his supporting cast are already dead. So they need more farm cores so that their supports don't have to show. Like, Timber Cell's like kind of farm, but without 20 stacks, I don't actually think he can survive versus amount of burst. And they need better spread in their items. Like, if their supports are more farm, like if he has a Blink Dagger, for example, he can stand like way further back. And if like the Ogre has a Lotus Orb, for example, then he can protect the Timber Saw instead of just being ignored and being used as the Bloodlust machine. But because so much of the farm is concentrated onto Ame and Maybe, like, they can just kite them because there's no BKB on Timber Saw, and he's not going to use his Lotus Orb perhaps at like the very start of the fight, or even if he does, he can just BKB stun him. So they kite the Timber Saw, and then the Weaver, they just go for after they go for the Oracle. So the game plan from LFY is pretty simple, but how does LGD counterplay that?
As you said, you know, maybe he's suffering as well in terms of Bloodstone charges down to 6. Yao's picked up a Shadow Blade, and that's going to just further increase the problem that LGD supports have in terms of the value that they're at the moment. They're going to get poorer and poorer because they're going to need to invest in more map control to help deal with these jump-ins from Yao. Already actually searching out their own jungle. Ame has to be a bit careful here. I'll go for the straight TP out. He should be safe here. No vision on that area as Yao, DDC, and the rest of LFY came hunting. Diffusal Blade now done for Ame. And I mean, in this game, in what particular reason are you getting this? Is it just for the Amplifier, or why else is he building this over other items after that Deso Lincolns?
Yeah, a little bit for the Amplify, as you mentioned, but I think a lot of it just because they need damage. They need to be able to kill people. You want to kill this Disruptor before anything else, but the problem with that is they can't actually like kill the Disruptor before he gets his spells off. The only disable that they have is Fire Blast again and Nyx Assassin, which hasn't been able to stun lock people in the fights, and he just does not have the mobility to move around. And it looks like Yao might get the jump here, and look, he feels so comfortable. He has a sentry ward right on top of him.
They have sentries absolutely everywhere. The warning from LFY. I mean, you just see, look over to LGD's jungle. There's 3 observer wards, the sentries down the mid lane. it's so hard for LGD to get what they intend to get done with this sort of a lineup. Picking this Nyx Assassin, and suddenly it's just unable to set anything up, and it's LFY consistently setting things up onto you. Yao just jumps straight into the jungle, finds Victoria, they just turn their eyes towards Qixing as well, and just like that, it's quick and easy pickoffs, 2 at a time for LFY, because of this warding and because of this control they have over the map and over the whole game as well in its entirety at this stage.
Yeah, they're just setting up so many more kills for Yao and his crew, just with all these observer wards and sentries. Like even last fight, they have 2 sentries down in the same place, just because they know that vision is that important. They need to make sure that they find the Nyx, and they need to make sure that Slaughter can get his Shadow Blade off.
Now they're going to get their hands on the high ground, tier 3 to fall very, very quickly. There'll be a fortification with the Dragon Form and the Lifestealer with the Deso and Hyperstone at this stage. There's no lack of pushing power from LFY, maybe. Try and come forward with the Lotus Sword, making sure that it's hard to be glimpsed back. Army's going to go for a bit of a split again on the top lane, similar to what we saw in terms of playstyle in game 1. They're going to Fire Blast to hold back the Dragon. The Chakram actually bringing N down low, but Yao's there. He jumps inside, blinks away, takes the Lifestealer back to safety. Super just BKBs, TPs back out. Army was actually able to finish off the bat, though. He came back, Xiao looking for the defense, was able to ward Army away. Actually paying with his life, but no, Yao coming in with a surprise, and no, they get revenge. They may have lost the director, but N producing a fantastic kill there with the help of Yao.
And the double-edged sword with the Linken's. Linken's is great versus the Batrider, but it's terrible versus the Slaughter. Like, you can still easily die in a Slithering Crush. So, like, he doesn't really have the HP to survive even building 1 defensive item. So what do you do? Do you have to go 2 defensive items and do no damage? Like, BKB Linken's is kind of seen as a weak build by some because you just don't have that much agility, nor do you have that much damage. But if he doesn't get BKB, he just gets crushed by the Slaughter. So it's a tough position for him. And Lifestealer looking to diversify his build a little bit, going with the Maelstrom. He already has a lot of minus armor. Like, we saw the Weaver just die in like 2 or 3 hits in that particular engagement. But dealing with the Timbersaw is another story. He itemized purely against physical damage with a lot of armor from the Lotus and perhaps the Shivas from the Plate Mail. And no hood that we see sometimes on the Timbersaw. So the Maelstrom will help a little bit with that. And if he gets kited and he has Mjolnir on, he's going to hit a lot of people.
I mean, at this stage of the game as well, I kind of asked the question in game 1, how did LGD come back? It's already looking here in game 2 that they're even a much more stickier situation, Ben.
They have to buy Gem. I think Gem is the first step. Gem, so they have the vision advantage in the fight, so that their Invincibles feel comfortable moving around in the fights. They can de-ward, and they can also see the Slaughter coming, and they can take down these Observer wards. It's a heavy investment right now, but I don't know who would get it, but I think that's the very first step that they need to do. And then after that, I don't know. I don't know if building BKBs is the right solution. I guess at some point you do. In mid lane, he just dies to another Infest Bomb just in a matter of seconds to crush.
This vision, this pick-off potential, End and Yao consistently finding things, and it's a big, big pick-off indeed as well to have this stage because he's out for a full minute. Arme, no way that he can help the lineup out. As LFY coming in with this heavy push on the bottom lane, maybe trying to draw their attention away from the wreck, but Xiao immediately in and gets Victoria. The pick-off that he needs each and every time. Static Storm controlling maybe. They've lost 3 on LGD. It's 27-7. Xe is glimpsed back. He loses his life as well, and GG is called. It's all too much here for LGD's original squad, and it'll be LFY moving on as the last representative Chinese side here at the Boston Major, Ben.
Yeah, and it is no surprise that like Xiao's team always perform at each and every Valve event, and the panel was backing. Okay, I trust whatever team has Xiao 8, even though there's maybe the superstar on their team like Xiao 8, teamwork, chemistry, shot calling, whatever it is on LGD.ForeverYoung, just way too superior for LGD.
Absolutely, and you mentioned maybe. He certainly had good performances in Game 1 and Game 2, but it just felt like the synergy wasn't there. There wasn't the backup that he needed to ensure that he was able to kind of drive that farm into a win. But there we have Xiao 8 and the team coming out.
He played so damn well on the Batrider.
I think you can't. If he gets that bat pick one, what do you do? I mean, we saw LGD trying to get the Nyx Assassin in return
and
twice,
Oracle,
but it didn't do anything.
Yeah, and I think we might see a lot more support Batrider cropping up after this, and maybe that's where Kaka got his inspiration from, or maybe vice versa. Maybe Xiao 8 got inspiration from Kaka. Not sure.
It was incredibly powerful. As long as you've got kind of those laners that can do without the bat's help at the start. I mean, we saw obviously the kind of coming into mid and dropping down napalm. farm charges, and nearly getting you kills in certain situations. But as you said, Xiao backing up. Even in this game, where game 2, they kind of changed up the game plan in the sense that LGD were a little bit more prepared for the jungle camps. We saw XZ heading over to the jungle, trying to slow down the farm. I didn't do anything at the end of the day, Ben, and Xiao ate bat.
Yeah. How far can they go, Alex?
Alex, let's bring you in. And,
that is the question, right?
And it really is. I mean, they're going to have to go up against Abfinim next. That's going to be a whole lot of fun.
That's going to be a series to remember.
It really is.
The fact that the 4th seed have just taken the 1st seed down, I mean, that's not something we've seen at all in this tournament. These guys are an exception to the rule.
It certainly seems that they are. I mean, this was the spot for these two teams to play for, as you mentioned on the panel before, a little bit of a grudge match potentially between these two sides. You're playing here to represent China as the last Chinese team in the Boston Major, and, I mean, there's no question about it. LFY absolutely deserving this spot as they pretty much dominate LGD in the second game at least.
Dominate being the active word. Thank you very much, Odie and Melina. You can go ahead and get yourselves tucked into bed. We're going to go ahead and wrap this bad boy up. The Boston Major playoff day number 2 in the Wang Theatre. Thanks very much, gentlemen. All right, wrapping this one up, and to understand exactly what LFY did right is my panel, still joined by Winter, Gods, and Pyrian Flax. The Chinese side in the quarterfinals is locked in. It will be ForeverYoung, a team that, did manage to overcome LGD in their region's qualifiers, and they've done it again on the big stage. That was the question. Could they do it? And it's a 2-0 as well, Winter. Not even getting to see a third.
I like their team name, all-season veteran players, but forever young.
Yeah.
They're never
Are they
hungry.
actually older than LGD?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
I mean, this game just showed how good a Xiao 8 team can be. They were so coordinated, all their moves, and this Bat Rider support, I'm actually, going to be a fan of it soon. The more I look at it.
And interesting, we were talking about why are they banning Enigma first? Like, it seems a little unusual. Obviously, it is a Xiao hero. 88.88% win rate over the last 25 games in the last 3 months. 25 games in the last 3 months. That's how good he is on that hero. And I know, like Winter was saying, he was unsure about the Bat Rider support. What's it doing? But he got converted over this series.
And you think about the Enigma pick. The Enigma pick would have fulfilled the same role, what he's doing in the game, but you farm a lot faster because you're Enigma, and you have much bigger team fight presence. So maybe that's possibly why LGD has chosen to not want to go up against the Enigma, but they prefer to go up against the Bat Rider.
Yeah.
Right.
Really felt like maybe just needed that little bit of extra help to get some of these kills. We're seeing some of these highlights here where he's in the middle of 4 or 5 heroes, often surviving for long periods of time with the help of the Oracle, but he could get people low, he couldn't finish off the kills. Meanwhile, it felt like LFY with a team with a much clearer direction and a much clearer kind of team cohesion. They were just comboing all their spells way better, finding much cleaner pickoffs, and the LGD side just didn't seem to have that same direction.
One thing I must say about the composition of LGD, like Weaver and Timber did not work very well together. One has like pure damage and one wants to do physical damage with the bug. So you want someone else to hit them, and Timbersaw doesn't really rely on his right-click damage to kill the enemies.
Sure. I mean, it does seem like there was a lot of... We were very excited to see what maybe would be doing in this game. And
he was scary, in the early game.
He did well, yeah. But
what you're saying, Gods, is that there wasn't much of a support framework surrounding him.
Yeah, but that was, I guess, more like focused around the draft, as Winter said. It's not like his team let him down, per se. It was... There just didn't seem to be the right heroes to kind of play around the Timbersaw. We've seen Timbersaw really excel in some of the earlier games of the tournament. Double G Unity and their 2 over Complexity used it to great success in both games. LFY just had some tried and tested combos. The Slider Lifestealer were able to easily find pickoffs. You had the Bat Rider initiating. They had much cleaner ways to go in, find a kill, back off, regroup, reset. So,
a hero we haven't mentioned yet, and I really liked in this setup, was the DDC on the Disruptor. Because when you're ahead, and I think they were ahead for a decent sort of early to early mid part of the game, they were looking for pickoffs and things. If you can turn that into one pickoff into 2 or even more, that's what Disruptor lets you do. When you're chasing, when you're on the front foot, someone's about to get away, Disruptor brings them back in. Against Timbersaw, I think it's really good to pull him back into the fight. I think the Disruptor really got them through that middle stage, and then once Slider has his blink and stuff like that, suddenly you just turn into this machine where they're just able to crush. And I thought that was good. But the Disruptor was a good pick as well.
Yep, that was a very good point. Their heroes allow the Disruptor to get those glimpses with the Napalm and the Amp damage. They kept chasing. Once you lose one hero, you're just going to lose more heroes.
Right. And they're operating with a stand-in, right, Winter? You said this before, talking about DDC and
DDC is one of their He's their original member when they first started out in Dota 1. They actually played with DDC on the same team.
Even Dota 2 as well. Like go back to TI2 LGD was DD and DDC.
Yeah, I played against that. I played against their team back then. They were like DD and DDC were two of the supports.
With Zhao 8 and Yao. This is so they're ex-teammates. So I guess they know each other well. The main newcomer is the carry player, who's kind of just been playing like Zhao Lifestealer. He seems to have, so far he's shown the mostly small hero
back
pool.
then, Sylar was their carry, right? Like who was their carry? I can't remember. But Sylar.
Sylar for LGD. Yeah.
Well, what's so beautiful is that they have been reunited, and that's probably where the synergy that you guys are praising has come from. Zhao has been reunited with Slacks as well, and we can take a quick look at what he's saying. The director is in for the quarterfinals.
Woo! Hello, hello! Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with Zhao 8, the last of the Chinese teams. How does it feel to be representing the last one in the region?
那你们现在是剩下的唯一一支国队了，这对你来说有什么感受？
我觉得这次中国队到这边可能状态都不是很好，然后都被淘汰了，感觉只剩下我们，压力还是挺大的。
I feel like maybe the forms of teams wasn't at their peak coming to this event, and with just us left, there's a lot of pressure on us.
Okay, and also I forgot to introduce my main man here, Jack. Sorry about that, Jack. Translator Jack there for you. Okay, so, anywho, I also wanted to ask you, what is it like transforming from a offlaner to a support? I asked S4 the same thing as a mid to an offlaner, so I put that question to you.
他曾经问过前世，就是转位置从中单转到3号位，那他想问你从3号位转到4号位有什么感受？
感觉就是多去熟悉适应一段时间，就其他的位置应该都是没什么问题的，因为3号位、4号位现在的定位都比较模糊。
Once you spend some time to go and adjust, I think there shouldn't be too much of a problem transitioning, and sometimes the roles, the lines between 3 and 4 aren't that clear.
Well, I had a serious question for you. You've been in this game for 10 years. I mean, you're as veteran as it gets. How do you keep your motivation? You're still here fighting to win this Boston Major. It's very impressive.
那作为职业选手，你已经打了很长时间了，很有成绩。然后你怎么保持你自己的动力或者对游戏的爱情？
因为我本身的话就比较宅吧，然后就算我不打比赛，平时我也是跟身边的朋友一起打 DOTA， 一起开黑，就只是玩的比较业余，因为感觉除了 DOTA 没什么可玩的吧。
I'm already kind of a stay-at-home type of person. Even if I'm not playing professionally, I'll still be playing Dota with my friends all the time. And so why not? This is already something that I do in my spare time anyway.
Absolutely. And finally, were you aware that I am actually fluent in Mandarin?
你知道他汉语通的，对吗？你知道吗？
我看他好像中文不怎么样。
Shi Hao, right? How do you say it again?
He says he suspects your Chinese isn't that good.
You are correct. Thank you. All right, thank you, guys. We'll throw it back to you guys there at the panel.
I want to cut to the wide just because Winter is giggling. This is a joke that we can't quite be part of. What? You are just...
No, he just flamed him.
He flamed him.
Yeah, he thought that there's no way this guy speaks any Mandarin.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Just completely doubting Slacks. Yeah. I like that. That was Zhao 8, everybody, if you were unfamiliar. Just interviewing the veteran that has guided his team to victory, LGFY, or that's rather LGD.ForeverYoung. We can have a look at the scoreboard as well to understand how this second victory did come to them in the series. And one of the biggest criticisms we hailed towards the LGD roster, their shortcomings in the first, was that of the Nyx Assassin. And again, he's boasting a rather large number of deaths, 9 for him. But I think the praise is still going towards that support Batrider, Winter. You're still in love with that.
I'm more in love with the Slada, though, this game. I think
Slada.
Slada. Yeah, the Slada did a lot. Like,
yeah, he did a lot.
Look at the comparison of the offlaners. The Nyx had... I don't mind the deaths, but okay. I look at the assists when you're on the offlane. How much you get done for your team. He has 4 assists, 1 kill. Slada had 18 assists that game. I mean, they were winning the game. So
I mean, proportionately, that's probably the same.
But still, you know, the Nyx in the previous game, even though his team was like they were winning they were in control in the early to mid game, but he still didn't get much done for his team.
So this just before we do head over to Purge, he's got something special for us regarding this support Batrider. This took you by surprise, right? Winter, this is something you've already sitting there going, I like this, I understand this.
I used to play support Batrider, but that was Dota 1. Now it's entirely different.
Yeah, and yet you're still convinced over the course of these 2 games?
Maybe after the video, after the Purge.
Yeah, look at that, perfect. Yes, indeed, Purge has got a special treat for you. He's going to break down exactly what makes support Batrider tick.
Hey guys, it's pretty important that you remember this information because this could be nerfed anywhere from 48 hours to 3 months from now. So definitely try to abuse them in your pubs when you can. The most important thing you do to support Batrider is what we just saw there. It's cast sticky napalm. So what you do is you go to a lane and you cast on the enemy mid 5 to 6 times until he's not safe to last hit. And that's because as you stack it more and more, it increases the damage that you do with right clicks. It actually does magic damage, by the way, so even better against Timbersaw in that way. So yeah, 4, maybe 5 napalm charges. Your items are pretty much focused on movement speed because, believe it or not, after you do cast napalm, you do have to go do something else. You're going to run back to your lane, ideally stack your large camp. So either a Windlace, maybe a Boots of Speed would be really good in this case. Zhao 8 doing an interesting tactic here. He's actually trying to tilt his opponents from the future. They're going to go back and watch this replay later and actually realize he didn't even make a stack. So literally all he did for the first minute was cast Sticky Napalm 5 times. But then the next part is he goes back mid again and he casts Sticky Napalm another 5 times, again making it difficult for Maybe. But see, at this point, Maybe is so mad about this that he actually overstays his welcome, and they end up chasing him down and killing him after like 5 or 6 stacks of Sticky Napalm here, and a great stun by DK. So thus far, pretty effective play from Zhao 8, I must say. Again, maybe move around, try to attempt another stack and fail it to, again, tilt your opponents. But at some point, you rotate forward to the top lane and actually do something. That's because by this point, he's actually leached level 2 from the mid lane. And then when you just fly over people using Sticky Napalm and Firefly, they just kind of die because it does a stupid amount of damage. So, yeah, he actually gets the Ogre kill just there. Eventually, this big stack that he's basically worked on the whole game, he will eventually clear this using things like Firefly. And, you know, at some point, you just have like a 6-3-3 Batrider that saves your carries. So it's a pretty straightforward guide. Just cast Napalm. That's about it.
That is brilliant. Well, you got the whole desk giggling, Purge, and it was a spectacular show of exactly why that was so effective.
I am sold. I'm sold.
You are sold. You said you had to wait and see the video.
Yeah. Don't even have to hit your stacks. It's
just think how good it would have been if he had hit those stacks. Think about that. It was already super effective.
Psychological warfare.
Brilliant.
I absolutely love that. Wow. Another day done, another great lesson learned from Purge. A whole lot of them came today, and of course yesterday. We can recap what our bracket does now look like because our round of 16 is done. The Boston Major has managed to carve ourselves and carve our way down to just 8 teams. We started with 16 and we've waved goodbye to half of them as we prepare for the quarters. VP and EG tomorrow, Warriors and OG. On the other side, you get to see that DCNP clash and Ad Finum LGD. Man, I mean, these games today provided almost as much excitement as we were anticipating after the first one. It's living up to the hype, boys.
Great games today, you know.
Yeah. Which was your favorite?
3 games. A lot of 3-game series today.
Yes, we actually got to see more of the third game. It's not a complete phenomenon. It does exist.
My favorite game?
You're not sure?
Not sure though.
Not sure.
Probably Ad Finum. One of the Ad
Finum
games.
Ad Finum
maybe game 3.
I think the bounty. I even seen game 2 with the bounty.
Yeah, game 2 is hype.
Okay, the career snipe.
Yeah,
I remember the career snipes, Alex.
Well, it's only going to be an upward trend from here. In fact, if you look at tomorrow's schedule, you are setting an early alarm. Get your phone out now and set that alarm. Of course, no one uses alarm clocks anymore. It's 2016. But do get your phone out and set it because we want you here bright and early, wiping the sleep out of your eyes for Virtus Pro, EG, Singular Limb. One of these teams is going home. Warriors Gaming Unity versus OG as well. Will they continue to cause upsets in this tournament, or will OG be the stop to that? DC versus NP, we get to see how that story does continue, and Ad Finum, who actually physically drew blood after their victory in their battle to get to the quarterfinals versus the squad from Forever Young.
I'm excited about the NA Showdown tomorrow.
NA Showdown?
DCNP.
Yeah, DCNP.
Yeah. I'm excited for OG WG Unity. I want to see if WG Unity can kind of continue the upsets or if it was just a one-off thing.
It's going to be good. There's no doubt about it. Final word from our health inspector, Ted.
Good job today. 1 minor injury. It was very quickly tended to.
Okay.
They did get a bandage on Spartans, so that's good to hear. Let's keep it safe tomorrow.
So we're allowed to run the show tomorrow?
You're allowed to
run the show tomorrow. We're not going to be shut down by the health inspector.
No. I'll give you one more day. Yeah, just keep it safe.
Okay.
And keep it sensible.
Keep it safe, keep it sensible. Those will be the words that we do end our show today here for the Boston Major. It's been our second day. The playoffs have been turbulent, and they will continue to be so as we've got big games coming up tomorrow, bright and early. Set your alarm clocks. We'll see you same time tomorrow for more of the Boston Major.
first round of the Boston Major Playoffs has drawn to a close. Now, 8 teams remain in the running to become the next Majors champion. They have passed the first hurdle, but the gauntlet awaits. And from this point on, the matches are about to get a hell of a lot tougher. Victory tomorrow would ensure a top 4 finish, but defeat would leave them regretting what could have been. The hunt for the Boston Major title continues.